Saline has won. The Trojans have won this game. They scored 2 touchdowns in less than 2 minutes to go. 1:50 remaining on the clock. Southeast of Saline might have been written off. They were down by 8 points, 28-20, but Southeast of Saline scores the last 16 points in this game, and the Trojans win their second state title in school history, and they win it 36-28.
This is Countdown to Kickoff for Southeast of Saline Trojan football on KINA Sports. Coming up, you'll get a preview of area games, analysis on tonight's matchups, and hear from the coach. Now, let's head to the stadium. Countdown to Kickoff starts now. On KINA and worldwide on Salina Post.
Last week, the Southeast of Saline Trojans took yet another step in defending their Class 2A state title. They were able to turn Phillipsburg away from Steve Fritz Field with a loss and look on to the next round. That round has a familiar foe in it, and it's the sub-state round. Tonight, Southeast of Saline takes on the Hoisington Cardinals. Hello and welcome into the campus of Southeast of Saline High School. My name is Devin Haney. I'll have play-by-play of tonight's contest. With me in the booth will be Tyler Smith. Producing and engineering back at the KINA studios in Salina is Nick Garst and Chris Cadle. And providing that live stream video tonight free of charge on salinapost.com is Brian Dennett. Presented tonight by Bennington State Bank and Abilene Termite and Pest Control. Southeast of Saline, a good outing last week. I can't stress enough how well Southeast played against a pretty good Phillipsburg team that came into Steve Fritz Field. Final score 48-6. All in all, Southeast of Saline continued that offensive machine, rolling one of the top offenses all classes in the state with a 48-point performance, also 430 yards of total offense. They split it up a little more evenly than they did the week before. 272 yards rushing, 158 yards passing. Phillipsburg, meanwhile, could only muster up 200 yards of offense, all of that on the ground. Also, Phillipsburg was limited to just 3 of 12 on third down, 1 of 6 on fourth down in a 48-6 Southeast of Saline win. That win now puts Southeast of Saline at 11-0 for yet another time and moves that winning streak to 24 games. Again, the longest winning streak in the state of Kansas, tied with the Andale Indians. Southeast of Saline looks across the field tonight and they see a very familiar foe in the Hoisington Cardinals. The last time Southeast of Saline lost a football game was to Hoisington in 2023. The last time Hoisington lost a football game was to Southeast of Saline in 2024. These two teams have put up a record of playoff football meetings, and boy, this will be the 5th one now. 5 straight years Hoisington and Southeast of Saline have met deep in the playoffs. If you're curious of the history between these two schools, well, it goes back to 1994. It was the first meeting between Southeast and Hoisington. They have met 8 times since then. Tonight will be the 9th meeting, and Southeast of Saline holds the edge. 7 of those 8 meetings, the Trojans have been victorious. That only lost, of course, in 2023 at Hoisington, where the Cardinals won 49-42 to go on to the state championship game. We have a lot to unpack tonight, and we will do that here on Countdown to Kickoff, brought to you by L&L Advisors. In our third segment, we will chat with head coach Mitch Gebhardt, get his thoughts on the Southeast of Saline type of things. Coming up next, Tyler Henry will have a Behind Enemy Lines segment as he chats Hoisington Cardinal football. It's all coming up next on Countdown to Kickoff. It's brought to you by L&L Advisors. Open enrollment time for Medicare. You may have strangers calling your phone, maybe even knocking on your door. You don't know who they are. Contact the experts that can help you, the guys that you know at L&L Advisors. 3 locations, one in Salina over by Salina Stadium just off Roach and Crawford. Also, Salina Central Mall, downtown McPherson. The 4th and newest location is in Manhattan. L&L Advisors, the experts that you know and you can trust when it comes time for open enrollment. Countdown to Kickoff is live here on KINA and worldwide on salinapost.com.
Whether on the field, court, or in the operating room, experience matters. A coach loves an experienced team just like a patient values an experienced doctor. Salina Ortho has ABOS board-certified physicians with over 40 years of orthopedic service. If you need help staying active or just want to discuss options regarding the newest techniques and services and specialties that Salina Ortho provides, see one of our trusted physicians or visit salinaortho.com. Salina Ortho, your voice, your choice, past, present, and future.
Hey Hey, Trojans fans, this is Angela Gephardt, proud wife of Southeast Saline head coach Mitch Gephardt. Just like the Trojans strive for excellence on the field, the Bank of Tesket goes the extra mile to offer top-notch checking accounts that fit your style. Whether you're managing your day-to-day expenses or planning for the future, our checking accounts are easy, convenient, and tailored for you. Plus, with your local roots and friendly service, we're here to support you every step of the way. Go Trojans!
Bank of Tesket, member FDIC.
You're listening to Trojan Football on KINA Sports.
Back here on the L&L Advisors Countdown to Kickoff. I'm Tyler Henry, and it's time now for us to go behind enemy lines, presented by LilyPad Septic. We are joined today by voice of the Hoisington Cardinals, Brant Daughtry. And Brant, first and foremost, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hey, Tyler, thanks so much for having me, man. Happy to do it.
So obviously at 10-0, there is a lot to like about the season Hoisington has put together. But, from what you've seen, what has impressed you the most about this year's Cardinal campaign?
For me, honestly, it's really the play of Hoisington up front on both sides of the ball. I'm telling you, this is maybe the best high school offensive line I have ever seen. And I've seen a lot of really good high school football in my time. But the front five of Leighton Mooney, Carson Kinman, Leighton Hoffman, Colin Motter, and Brody Corbett are really, they've got great size and they work really well together and they execute what Hoisington wants to do really well. On the other side of the ball, they rotate these guys a little bit more, but the starting three on the front for the Hoisington defense, Colin Motter, Leighton Hoffman, two names I mentioned on the O-line, and then defensive end, Brody Fonensteel. Those three really free up the linebackers to work. And like most good football teams, everything Hoisington does starts up front.
It's hard to nitpick a team that's won their games by as wide of a margin as the Cardinals have on average. But, at the same time, there's a difference between good and great and state championship caliber. What are some improvements, if you even want to call them that Hoisington might need to make if they want to hoist the trophy on Thanksgiving weekend?
Well, I tell you, just looking at the team from last year to this year, I think the biggest difference is, one, they're healthier at this time than they were last year. And the other thing is the play of quarterback Mason Martin. Hoisington runs the flex bone. Triple option is kind of their base play. They really love that fullback dive. But really the play of quarterback Mason Martin, he's got over 1,000 yards passing now after the last game. He's allowed Hoisington to spread it out a little bit more, be a little more balanced, and keep things going. So while Hoisington is a team that wants to run the football first and foremost, they can throw the football, and it allows them to kind of make it a little bit further than they have in the past.
You kind of alluded to it, typically year to year, you can do the simple math, right? Take last year's team, subtract the seniors, add the freshmen, that's what you've got. You can't do that with Hoisington. They started last year 1-4, they got healthier as the season went on, and coming into this year, they've gotten a lot of pieces that they were missing entirely a season to go back. Who are some of the guys that Hoisington did not have this time last year who have made a really big impact this season?
Well, one thing that stands out is starting running back Taylor Morales. He was hurt last year, and he missed all of this year. And it's interesting because Morales is starting at that fullback spot. He wasn't supposed to be the starter this year. Defensive end and junior Preston Merlot was supposed to be the starter at that fullback spot. Merlot gets hurt in the jamboree against Great Bend and breaks his leg. He's missed the entire season up to this point, and I don't think he's going to try and make a comeback. So Taylor Morales kind of fills in. He's injured all of last year, and he's also Hoisington's starting kicker and punter, and so you miss out on that. Well, Morales comes in. He's got over 1,300 rushing yards on the season, filling in at that fullback spot. He's also a really good outside linebacker. He's the first one that comes to mind. On the other side of the football, or on the excuse me, at the quarterback position, like I said, Mason Martin, he was a starting wide receiver last year. He moves over to that quarterback spot and just offers Hoisington a balance that they probably didn't have last year, starting the kid that they had last year who was a really good runner but was not as good a thrower as Mason Martin, who everybody around here calls Marty.
Well, and this is a great matchup, right? Southeast of Saline and Hoisington have now met 8 times. The last 4 and now 5 will have been in the playoffs. From the Hoisington side, does this feel like it's kind of become a little non-league rivalry game in a way?
It does a little bit. I talked with Coach Baird earlier this week, and he said, we're getting kind of familiar with these guys, and the series is close. It's 2-1 right now. Hoisington wants to even it up, and it's such a matchup of two programs that have built themselves into year in, year out contenders. And they really want to be good enough to make it to the state title game. Obviously, Southeast of Saline was last year. And again, what's crazy to me, Tyler, is that the last losses that these two teams have had came to each other. Hoisington has not lost yet this season after getting bounced in the round of 8 last year to Southeast of Saline. And now Southeast of Saline has not lost a game since Hoisington knocked them out 2 years ago about this time. So it's just a really impressive matchup between two programs that have become two of the better ones in the state of Kansas.
Well, it's been fun to watch both of these programs grow under these two coaching staffs. I was curious, when you look at this year's Trojan team, what stands out to you right away? And, what are kind of your initial thoughts on this matchup coming in?
Well, standing out, obviously, statistically, I look at the running back. I look at Grady Gebhardt, the running back, almost not quite at 1,800 yards yet. He's obviously a phenomenal player. And the thing that stands out about this Southeast of Saline team is it's going to throw a look at Hoisington that they really haven't seen yet this year. You playing in 2A football, most teams are running a flex or a wishbone or a wing tee, some form of run-dominant football. Really, the only spread team that Hoisington has faced so far this year is Cheney, and they handled Cheney pretty well. But I do think that Southeast of Saline is a much better team at running the football than Cheney was. And so it's going to be kind of that downhill power run game, but out of a spread look that Hoisington hasn't seen yet this year. And I've got full confidence in Coach Baird and Coach Kelsch and their that defensive staff and being able to figure this thing out. But it's going to be a look that they haven't seen.
Maybe this is where we get ourselves in a little trouble as radio guys, because we're not in the locker room. We don't know exactly what goes through the heads of a lot of these players. But at the same time, for Hoisington and for Southeast of Saline, I'd be curious to get your thoughts on both sides of this here. These are two teams that have not faced much, if any, adversity this season. Both teams have been blowing out all of their opponents this year, including throughout this playoff run. How do you feel like a team like Hoisington might respond to really the first challenge of the season, if that's what Southeast of Saline brings tonight?
I definitely want to start this answer by saying this. Southeast of Saline will be the best team that Hoisington has played this year, and I think that Hoisington knows that. They're approaching this game and giving it the respect that it absolutely deserves. But I will say a lot of Hoisington's games have been close at half, and they've kind of pulled away in the second. That's been one of their calling cards. Heston was a one-score game at half or close to it. Cheney was tied at 6 at halftime. There have been a couple of games this year where Hoisington has kind of had to pull away late. It was a a two-possession game last week against Garden Plain before Hoisington kind of pulled away. So Hoisington, a lot of their games have been close kind of at the intermission of halftime. But I do think that overall it's been a really strong second half. That is something that we as radio guys, myself and my color man, Gene Manweiler, have talked about a lot, is how good Hoisington has been in the second halves of these close games, and they've been able to pull away.
Well, and you pull away, obviously you need to get stops defensively, but offensively, this is just a juggernaut for Hoisington. 70 points a game or more in 4 different games this season. What sets that group apart from the teams that you've seen them face this year?
Well, I've already mentioned the offensive line. Again, specifically the front three of Carson Kinman, Leighton Hoffman, and Colin Motter. Those guys are all 6'2" or taller. The lightest of them is 240 pounds. And you got Leighton Hoffman in the middle. That dude does just about everything. He's the best offensive lineman that Hoisington has. He also plays nose tackle. It's kind of funny. They kind of just sit him in the middle of the line and tell him to go win or go clog up something. And the fact that he's able to do it, I think, is a big difference. The other thing is, they do run a lot of option, and the fact that they have only turned the ball over on an option play, I think twice, maybe 3 times this year, they execute it so well. And like I said, everything starts up front, but then you've got athletes all around. You really can't key in on any one guy. I mentioned Taylor Morales at the fullback spot, but Mason Martin can run it. CJ Bryant has been the home run hitter. He's got 530 yards on 48 carries this year. He's such an explosive runner, but the thing is, all of these guys buy into the system. They're very effective blockers as well when other guys get the football. So it's really the program that Coach Baird has built up. He believes in this offensive philosophy, and he's gotten the guys around him to buy in as well.
It should make for a really fun game tonight. Looking forward to it. And Brant, thank you so much for your time. Best of luck to your Cardinals here tonight.
Tyler, good talking to you, man. Thank you very much. Good luck to you.
Once again, that was the voice of the Cardinals, Brant Daughtry, joining us from Behind the Enemy Lines. We'll step away, but when we come back, the L&L Advisors Countdown to Kickoff show rolls on here on KINA.
Southeast wins! Southeast of Saline wins!
Trojan fans, it's not too late to get your 2024 state championship merch or to get custom gear to celebrate the 20th anniversary of the 2005 state championship team at Copyco. In addition to great SES gear that you can wear all year round, Copyco also offers custom printing so you can support any student athlete in any activity from football and basketball to choir and band. See them at 2346 Planet Avenue in Salina.
4 walls and a roof can make a house, but a home, that's where life happens. First steps, backyard birthdays, morning coffee, sunsets on the porch. Home isn't something you buy, it's something you feel. And when it's right, you just know. For 22 years, Dan Goebel has helped people in Salina find that feeling. And now he's here to help you. Your home is out there. Dan Goebel knows the way. Call 785-819-1904 or visit Salina Homes to find your way home.
You are listening to Southeast Trojan Football on KINA Sports.
Back here on Countdown to Kickoff, brought to you by L&L Advisors, getting ready for another playoff game featuring the Southeast of Saline Trojans right here on KINA. What's this? The state refers to this as a sub-state game. I call it the Final Four, even though I know we're not supposed to say that because it's trademarked because of college basketball. But Mitch Gebhardt joins us now, courtesy of Frisbee Construction. And here you are, Coach. 4 teams now left in each classification. We've seen the field across the state of Kansas cut in half each week, and 4 teams now out of 9 classifications, a total of 36 teams entering tonight. And boy, you had a really, really good game last week, I thought, against a team from Phillipsburg that came in. I still think it was a good football team, but in my eyes, the Trojans played awfully well. What do you think overall about your game last week?
Yeah, I think you're seeing it right, Devin. I think our kids played well. We might have started a little slow out of the gate, but I felt like offensively and defensively we did a nice job. We got our passing game going there a little bit. That's kind of what they were giving us, and obviously our running game's been good the last several weeks too. And I thought our kids did a good job executing the plan. Phillipsburg is an awful good football team. They're physical. They got big dudes up front and do a nice job with the football. And I thought our kids responded to what they were doing very well and played a good football game.
That first drive, we kind of saw what the Panthers were all about. It's that kind of smoke and mirrors run game. They have a couple of guys that they were able to get the ball in their hands that are extremely fast and electric. And boy, I just want to talk about the first touchdown. A couple of things I saw on that play. Obviously, Phillipsburg scored, but you blew their center out of the water. That was a big thing there for Tristan Swank that he did. Also, Kenyon Douglas nearly made that tackle for a loss instead of a touchdown. That could have easily been a 4-yard loss. And I thought to myself, I didn't panic a whole lot because even though Phillipsburg scored, I saw positive things on that play. What'd you see there?
Well, and I agree with you. That was against a offense like that. Tristan was supposed to blow up the center, and he did a nice job on that. And that dude's fast. I mean, we knew he was. He was a good hurdler last year, and we knew he was fast. And game speed's hard to replicate in practice, and I think that might have got to us a little bit too. And Kenyon just didn't quite get there. And if you watch it close, Drew Weller was right behind him, chasing him. So if we could have just got it turned in, Drew would end up with the tackle, but we didn't get her turned in. And once that kid started up the sideline, he turned on the jets, and he was pretty fast. So that was a big play for them to score there to start out with. But I felt like as the game wore on, our kids understood the speed of the game and those type of things and did a nice job of what we were doing.
For the second straight week, you were able to answer the first score of the game with a quick score of your own. You go down, you not only get 6, but you get 2 points after that. 8-6 right away, the lead. And again, we see you just kind of grab that momentum from the opposite sideline and get it back. How big was that first drive for your offense?
Yeah, it was huge. It was a big deal. We started out with a pass there and got several yards, and then it was good for us to get in the end zone. And anytime somebody scores and you can score, and then obviously we go for 2 and get the 2, it's a big deal for us for momentum. And then I thought our defense kind of hunkered down after that and did a nice job.
14-6 at the end of the first quarter. Then you leave them shut out the rest of the game. 12-0 in the second quarter, 6-0 in the third, 16-0, a final score of 48-6. Adjustments in this game. You made the comment to Tyler Smith right before you went into the locker room at halftime that you knew that you had to get that outside run stopped. I thought it was appropriate because adjustments will get made sometimes. We always talk about, everybody has this belief of this big halftime speech that goes on, and it's a you have this magic key to the kids' brains, and that's how you make those adjustments. But I thought it was interesting. You said what needed to be done, and then obviously they felt like it was their best play. They come out and run that play. First play of the third quarter, and your guys are ready for it.
Yeah, and we just had to make sure we were getting to the correct spots in a hurry.
Yeah.
we weren't getting there when we needed to. We were just tardy a little bit, and after we talked at halftime and kind of got our bearings back to what we were doing, I felt like our kids did a good job, and that was a big deal for them to come out with that play and us be able to stop it, because that was what they were gaining yards on. I mean, that kid had over 100 yards in the first half, and we don't give up very many 100-yard rushers.
I don't want to make it sound like this game wasn't decided in the trenches, because they all are. And I know this game started out being kind of us against you, offensive, defensive lines, who's going to have the advantage here. I just thought there was the biggest difference in the game made by your guys as skill players and what you're able to do, not only with your defensive backs, but also with your receivers. And Tiernan Potocnik, how about the game that he played in the passing game?
Yeah, I believe Tiernan was 13 for 17, and he threw 2 balls away. So, that's a pretty darn good football game for a quarterback. But I thought he did a good job of finding the guys that were open. After the week we'd had before running the football, they were going to make us throw the ball a little bit more. And I thought our kids did a good job of getting open and then Tiernan finding them. So, his progressions were good. The game's slowing down a little bit for him, and he's doing an outstanding job.
Talk about Tiernan a lot because he's the quarterback. I want to throw 2 names at you, though, and I feel like we talked about these guys a couple of weeks ago when this run started, but we're going on like 6 to 8 weeks now that Bryson Lippold and Amarion Holub have just been supreme contributors on both sides of the ball to this team. Tell me about those 2 guys and the way that they're playing here down the stretch.
Well, both of those guys are playing outstanding. They've got a lot of starts for us and a lot of experience, and that sure makes a better football player. Their confidence is high. They're both physical football players, and I agree. They're both playing very well on both sides of the football. Bryson had 2 touchdown catches, and Marion has been playing outstanding at his safety spot and as a receiver also. And when you have and I really feel like we have 6 or 7 guys at least that can catch the football and get yards downfield and do those type of things. So when you have that many people, it's good for the Trojans for sure. Caden
Berrigan had his injury woes there for a couple of weeks, missed a game, came back. He finally got back in the mix offensively. He's always a great blocker, but 4 catches for KB. I thought it was good to have him back on the receiving end of some of those passes as well. Absolutely, and that's one of those kids that just works his tail off, and anything that's positive happened to him is great. And he's another one that on defense has been doing an outstanding job also. He's such a good leader and just works his tail off to be as good as he can be. Boy, Hoisington, it's a familiar foe, isn't it? This is a team that you guys have hooked up with now. This will be 5 years in the playoffs, the 4th consecutive year here recently. Overall series, Southeast of Saline owns it 7-1. You go back in the early 2000s, these 2 teams hooked up in the regular season a couple of times, but recently it's been playoff action, and it's been deep in the playoffs, a 30-6 victory for you last year in this as we went through the playoffs, and it's just kind of weird to think, Tyler Henry and I were talking, and I'm sure you know this as well. The last time Hoisington lost was to Southeast of Saline. The last time Southeast of Saline experienced a loss was to Hoisington. This series has a lot of history here recently, doesn't it? Well, and if you look at history of football programs and things like that in 2 and 3A over the years, especially the last 20 years, but even before that, Hoisington's always up there towards the top of the list. And Coach Bear does a great job with this program there, and his assistant coaches do outstanding also. And they're just consistent, and that's what you want in a program. And they do such a good job. They played in the state championship a couple of years ago, beat us out, and they're just a good football team, and we know we're going to be prepared on Friday to get ready to go. For somebody on the outside looking in, and they see that score from last season, and they ask you, Coach, what's the difference between Hoisington last year and this year? What would you say? Well, I really believe they were dinged up pretty bad last year, all year long, and they lost some games early on because they had a bunch of kids hurt, and some of those kids did come back as the season progressed through, but obviously they'd be behind during that season. And then if you look at their schedule throughout this year, I mean, they play a tough schedule. They play several 3A teams and some good 2A schools, and for the most part, they pretty well handle everybody that they've played. So, again, just tradition. They're used to winning. They're used to winning playoff games. They're used to doing what they're supposed to do, and they're going to be physical, and it should be a good football game. 4 teams left in Class 2A, trying to get it down to 2 and play in that game next week. What are your keys to success tonight? I think we got to take care of the football. We got to make sure that we don't have turnovers and get first downs and move the football. Keep the ball out of their hands. Defensively, we got to make sure we understand what they're trying to do.
we got to slow the run game down and make sure we understand what they want to do with their passing game on defense. And then special teams, anytime a playoff game is about, special teams play can be the difference in a football game. So we got to be sound there also.
Mitch Gebhardt, head coach of the Southeast of Saline Trojans. His guys tonight at home to take on Hoisington. Coach, best of luck. We'll talk to you at halftime.
All right, Devin, thank you.
Mitch Gebhardt, head coach of the Southeast of Saline Trojans. Kickoff is right around the corner, and it's our chance to remind you 0% interest at Long MacArthur Ford on all brand new F-150s. It even includes the Roush package, Long MacArthur Performance package. Boy, you get into Long MacArthur right now, 0% interest on all brand new F-150s for 60 months. It's not short term. It's not a 36-month offer. It is 60 months, 0% interest on all brand new F-150s, over 100 trucks in stock at Long MacArthur Ford in Salina. They're helping us bring you playoff football featuring the Southeast of Saline Trojans. Back with the coin toss and the kick right after this on KINA.
Your next visit to the doctor for an upcoming procedure or surgery should start with a conversation about Salina Surgical Hospital. Hi, this is Geraldine Diedrich, and we are truly committed to fostering your health and well-being. From outpatient procedures to inpatient stays, you will feel the difference in our excellent care and compassion. Talk to your doctor about scheduling your next procedure at Salina Surgical Hospital. Your surgical experience is our specialty. Salina Surgical Hospital is partially owned by a group of local community-involved physicians.
Your mailbox is stuffed full and the phone keeps ringing. There are even strangers knocking at your door. Open enrollment time for Medicare and prescription drug plans is here, and it brings all kinds of unsolicited activity. Call a local firm with people you know at L&L Advisors. Plans can change pretty drastically year to year, and the agents at L&L Advisors are happy to answer your questions, give advice, and make you feel at ease. With 2 locations in Salina on Road Street and Central Mall, and on South Main and McPherson. Built on honesty and trust, call L&L Advisors today.
This has been Countdown to Kickoff. The opening kick is right around the corner.
It's about to get ugly.
Back to the stadium we go for Trojan football on KINA Sports.
Welcome back into Southeast of Saline High School. Steve Fritz Field tonight for this sub-state Final Four game. The right to go to the state title game next Saturday on the line. Southeast of Saline and Hoisington. It's kind of weird to think about, but when you look at the Final Four in Class 2A, including Hoisington, Southeast of Saline, and then you look in the East, Osage City and Nemaha Central, at least one of those teams, Nemaha Central, Hoisington, or Southeast of Saline, at least one of them has been in 5 of the last 6 state championship games. So the blood is rich when we get to this time of year. Tyler Smith, and I tell you what, when we look at the weather conditions, I think pregame might be the worst that we see tonight. Right now at 7 o'clock, there's a 10% chance of rain. We see a little bit of drizzle running across the stadium lights here at Southeast of Saline. 44 degrees, north wind at 10 miles an hour. After 7 o'clock, there is 0% chance of rain, so I think right now is about what we're going to have, minus the rain later on.
Yeah, Devin, this is just beautiful football weather, right? This is what happens when you play late into November and you continue to play. We haven't seen these weather conditions, like you said. It's been super nice, super great Friday nights, but now football weather. 2
heavy hitters in Hoisington and Southeast of Saline. Each loss that the team has last experienced. Hoisington last year, Southeast of Saline 2 years ago, was to the other. Hoisington was the last team to give Southeast of Saline a loss. Southeast was the last team to give Hoisington a loss. Tyler, your New Image Audio, keys to success tonight for the Trojans to keep it rolling.
Well, for the Trojans defensively, it's all about being sound and being responsible. This is a Hoisington team that's going to run the flex bone majority of the time. They can still break it out. They can run a shotgun. They can spread you out offensively effectively enough. They have the athletes to do so. We've seen a lot of teams kind of fade to that, but they have that as part of their arsenal, so they can do give you multiple looks. But they're a flex bone heavy team. That means a lot of run game. That means they're trying to find a mistake from one of your 11 defenders. And then offensively, it's all about pace and tempo, isn't it? It's all about how do we make sure that we're fresh defensively to go in. We can go fast. We can go slow. We can make sure we run the clock. I think that's going to be the key tonight, is just seeing, how Coach Gebhardt wants to go. Do you want to go full throttle? Do you want to slow things down? But then special teams. I mean, we know Hoisington, they have a great kicker. We heard Coach Gebhardt talk about that with Tyler Henry in the coaches show. Like, they have a kicking game that's pretty good. You always have to kind of play that into this game. This is a semifinal game, and it feels like it tonight.
Malachi Hopkins ready to kick it away as Hoisington will start out receiving the football. Hoisington in their all whites, Cardinal on the helmet, Southeast of Saline in their purple tops, white pants, and the Trojan logo on the side. Hoisington mishandles the opening kickoff, and they will go down and cover it, and they will start at the 26-yard line. Let's welcome that Trojan defense out onto the field as Southeast of Saline will be starting here with their defensive unit. It's brought to you by Salina Fence Company. Up front, Drew Welder, Tristan Swank, Brody Chambers, Bryson Lippold will be playing all over the place. Your corners are Caden Berrigan and Malachi Hopkins. Linebackers, Amarion Hollub, Killian Vaughn, Grady Gebhart, Canyon Douglas. Your safety is Tiernan Potachik. That's the Salina Fence Company. Southeast of Saline Trojan defenders starting the football game here tonight. Hoisington comes out. They will start at their own 26-yard line. Here's the shotgun snap. They're going to give it to Morales, first guy through, and he will plummet ahead to the 33-yard line on a gain of 7.
Yeah, and you saw right there. So we talked about flex when they come out immediately in that, not necessarily a spread formation, if you will, like by definition, but still in the gun. They go out, they spread people out. We saw Pafanastil out to the far side. Pafanastil's number 22. He's a guy you have to account for every play, offensively and defensively, and so is Morales. Morales is another talented player for Hoisington. Got to make sure you know where they are. Now you see them go kind of back more into their traditional flexbone offense.
Everybody within the tight formation of the tackles, there is a wide receiver on each side. Option play to the right-hand side. It will be a keeper for quarterback Mason Martin. He will go ahead and get a first down on a gain of 3.5 out to about the 36-yard line. Martin will carry the football, though he is the fourth leading rusher on this team. There are 3 guys in front of him. It's Morales, the big play hitter, C.J. Bryant, that we will see not only carry but receive the ball tonight. And as you talked about, the big guy, Brody Fonensteel.
Yeah, and it's how they use Fonensteel. He can spread out. He can come to the tight end. He can come to a flex bone. He can also go to that fullback. He's dangerous no matter where he is in the field.
Fonensteel split out to the right. They'll run the option that way to Bryant. He cuts it back. He's going to be wrapped up and dropped by Grady Gebhart. 1 yard on first down for C.J. Bryant, and we will see them use him all over the place. If there's such a thing as a joker on offense, which I think there is, Southeast has Amarion Hollub. C.J. Bryant is that guy for the Cardinals.
Yeah, when you have a guy that can do so many things, you can't really key on something. You can always look at, your what you're keying on. There's so many different things that you can do. If you see where a guy is, where the ball's going. When you use a guy like that, you can't just key on one specific spot. However, we've seen now twice the ball ran to Pafanastil's side. Like, that's going to be where the ball's going to go because he's going to either give you great blocks or carry the ball well.
No wide receivers this time for a 2nd down and 8. There is a motion man in Bryant. They'll run it to that side behind the motion man, and kind of bouncing out of the crowd and looking for more on that carry was Taylon Morales. He will bounce it to the Hoisington sideline, get a gain of 4, bring up 2nd down and 4.
Yeah, Morales has been really impressive this year, over 1,000 yards rushing, just a benefactor of this offense, but also a great athlete. He can beat you in so many ways. We saw right there, kind of a little bit, off tackle. He can beat you up the middle. He can beat you to the outside. He's dynamic. You got to make sure you know where he is defensively at all times.
3rd down and 4 coming up for the Cardinals as they push it towards the middle of the field. Just underway. Opening possession of the night here between Hoisington and Southeast of Saline. They go 4 wide receivers running an option to that side, the right-hand side, short side of the field. They will have a first down. It was a pitch from Martin out to Morales. They took the right-hand sideline, and they will break off a big chunk of yardage here as the Cardinals move it across the 50-yard line to the Southeast of Saline 47.
Well, Devin, I think that pitch might have went to Pafanastil, and I think that's what they did right there in that gun is they put Pafanastil as a running back, and that's something that's difficult to account for. You prepare for flexbone. All of a sudden, we talked about how this team can do multiple things as we see Pafanastil, I believe, in the fullback spot.
Gain of 10 on that last play for Hoisington. 1st down and 10. They will give it to the back coming through, the single back that was coming through. That's Morales. And he will plunge ahead for about 4 yards.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Again, it's one of those things you talk about guys that run the same. We talk about Hollub and Gebhart from our side. Pafanastil and Morales both look very similar as well, which is a great problem to have if you're Hoisington, because that's 2 big dudes that can run the ball hard. It's a good run right there. They want to stay ahead of the chains. But this is one of those flexbone teams. If you get behind the chains, you can go to the gun. You can kind of do some creative things from there as well.
Gain of 4 on that play. 2nd down and 6. Football setting at the Southeast of Saline 43-yard line. Here's a guy in motion going from right to left. Back to pass. Cardinals want to air it out. Down to the right-hand sideline. It's Fonensteel. He's going to push off and get the reception. Boy, a lot of back and forth there between Fahnensteel and Malachi Hopkins. And Fahnensteel that time just kind of a sweep of two hands, moved Malachi Hopkins out of the way, and he comes down with the football inside of the 10-yard line at the 9.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough matchup for any Southeast Saline defensive back. Fahnensteel at 6'4", listed at 218. I mean, that's a big dude. He can run. Multiple recruiting services have him listed very high as one of the top juniors in the state of Kansas. That's a tough matchup for anyone, especially on the outside.
He is the leading receiver on this Hoisington team. Guy in motion. Morales will take it. He is battling his way inside the 5. He's going to be stacked up there by a host of Southeast of Saline players and driven back as he gets to the 4-yard line, a gain of 5. Taylor Morales probably needs to go back and get remeasured and also step on the scale. I don't think he's done that since he was a freshman. You talk about how big he looks. He is listed on the program as 5'11", 160. I'm not buying it.
That ain't 5'11", 160. That is a dude back there.
Second down and goal from the 4. Bryant goes in motion. It ends up in the quarterback's hands, Mason Martin, and he is going to get across the goal line and score. It's Martin from 4 yards out for our first score of the game. Hoisington leads it 6-0.
Yeah, and you just saw it right there. Just fullback given. We talked about the flex, but we talked about it last week. You can run multiple fullback dives with so many different blocking schemes up front. And, when the ball's at that part of the field, it's kind of hard for us to see, but you can pull your center, you can run midline, you can run GT, you can also, fold down and run power. That looked like it was right up the gut, but it's difficult for a defense to adjust to those formations.
Hoisington will go for 2. Morales can kick, but they're going to go for 2 here in this instance. Stretch play, left-hand side. Now they pitch it on the reverse. It's a reverse pass. It's going to be intercepted. Caden Berrigan takes it away. KB in the end zone denies Hoisington of the point after, and we are at our first timeout. 7:39 left to go. Hoisington marches down the field. They get 6. Southeast of Saline will have their turn when we come back. It's Trojan football here on KINA.
Come home for the holidays at Aeroplanes Townhomes in Salina. Brand new 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom homes with over 1,500 square feet for only $229,000. Storm shelter, 2-car garage, solid surface countertops included. Sod, landscape, and sprinklers already installed. Plus $5,000 holiday cash on the last 5 homes in Phase 1. Take $5,000 cash or get a $5,000 credit for closing cost. You choose. Buy now and be in your new home in time for the holidays. Learn more at aeroplanesks.com.
You're listening to Southeast of Saline football on KINA.
Welcome back here to Steve Fritz Field. Hoisington out early on, 6-0 here on KINA. Also live stream video on SalinaPost.com. That is free of charge, not only live tonight, but anytime you want to watch it after the game. It's brought to you tonight by Abilene Termite and Pest Control. Cold weather means rodents are looking for somewhere warmer and nicer to go. That means your house or maybe your shed, your garage could be that domicile they're looking to move into. Call Abilene Termite and Pest Control. They are locally owned, have been for 74 years. Not only do they serve Abilene, but also the southeast of Saline and Salina areas. No contracts because they don't need them. Locally owned, give my guy Kurt Phillips a call. He's a great guy. You will love to do business with him at Abilene Termite and Pest Control. 6-0, Hoisington. They will kick it off for the first time to southeast of Saline. Back deep. It's going to be Douglas, along with Amarion Hollab. Hollab on the return. He has his foot grabbed, and he will stumble his way out to about the 33 or 34-yard line, and will be southeast of Saline's offense on the field for the first time. Led by junior quarterback Tiernan Potacik, 57 of 85, throwing the football, 943 yards, 11 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Tiernan also has 49 carries, 334 yards on the ground with 7 touchdowns, as the nose of the football sits right at the 35-yard line. Starting out on the right hash, Tiernan takes the football, gives it to Grady Gebhardt. Grady, a couple of stutter steps as he approaches the hole. He may get a yard, but that will be it. As Grady Gebhardt comes across the 30, they're going to give him 2 on his first carry of the game.
And, Devin, this is one of those games. There's big names, right? You have Brody Chambers, the reigning Defensive Player of the Year, small school football last year. You have Pafanistil, who's likely going to be, one of those guys. They were matched up right there, but it's also the other guys. The defensive line right there from Hoisington did a great job other than Pafanistil, who was locked up by Chambers.
Second down at 8, pitch out left-hand side. Gebhardt has Lippold out in front, and Gebhardt is spun down. Coming in to make the tackle that time is Logan Kossel from his safety spot, and Grady Gebhardt out to the 36-yard line as he gets a gain on that play.
Yeah, and it's just a good job. Now you got yourself third and manageable right there, 2nd and 8. And this is going to be a kind of new type of offense that we see from Southeast. You're going to have to run the ball. You're going to have to establish it. There's not going to be a lot of big plays against this athletic defense.
3rd and 4. Potacek rolling out, wants to throw it. It's low to Caden Berrigan. Berrigan goes down after it and keeps it up off the turf, and it's a catch for a first down. Tiernan Potacek rolling to his right, throwing with that left hand. Found Caden Berrigan down low at about the 43-yard line. The football got tossed back. Now it's in the Southeast of Saline backfield as the Trojans are ready to go here. You spoke about tempo. Now we see it.
Yeah, now you have to go, right? Like the biggest strength you have right now in Southeast is just the amount of athletes you have over Hoisington. They have dudes. Southeast has dudes. It all comes down to who has the most amount of dudes. It looks like we're having the officials weren't ready for the ball change, and that's one of the things, we talk about the weather. You're always going to try to keep a dry ball out there. That all of a sudden brings those ball boys into play. It looks like they were ready. Maybe the officials weren't, but we're all back on the same play.
First down for Southeast of Salina at their own 43-yard line. They go heavy on the left-hand side with 3 wide receivers. Gebhardt in the pistol formation directly behind. Tiernan Potacek in the gun. Potacek wants to throw again. Little pump fake. Has someone in his face. Now he's going to be flushed out of the pocket. TP looking for somewhere to go. Unleashes it, and it's going to be just too high. He had a small window to hit Malachi Hopkins and just missed him high across midfield at the 40-yard line.
Yeah, he did. It looked like the initial play was KB down here on the bottom side, the near side right here, just a little pump and go. Try to get him on a hitch and go right there. That play broke down. Good coverage from Hoisington. So what Tiernan did is what Tiernan does best, is he rolls out, kind of plays a little backyard football, had a wide open receiver. Ball just kind of flew high on him. Unfortunately, incomplete for Southeast of Saline.
2nd down and 10 after the incomplete pass. Same formation this time. Tiernan looked at Grady Gebhardt, and then, boy, that kind of looked like a busted play, and Tiernan's going to pay the price. He's going to lose 2 yards, and it's going to be 3rd down and 12. Tiernan looked at Grady Gebhardt maybe like on a sweep play, and for some reason did not pitch the football. I'm not sure what happened there between those two.
Devin, I wonder if that was just a bad snap. I wonder if that was supposed to be a read, supposed to come through. The snap's a little bit high into the right, and all of a sudden just kind of threw everything off. 3rd and 11 for Southeast. We'll see how they can manage the situation. This is one of those kind of situations offensively. Like, what do you do? This play will dictate what you do on 4th down.
5 wide receivers for Tiernan Potacek. 3 of them to the top of the screen over on the left-hand side. 2 to the near side. It's Berrigan and Gebhardt. That's the short side of the field. Potacek, empty backfield, takes the snap from Vaughn. Backpedaling, now he's going to let it go off the right-hand side. Gebhardt comes back to it, and the ball incomplete. Grady did everything he could to come back to it, but we see the results of the wet turf. It is still misting here at Southeast of Saline, and Grady's feet just came out from underneath him.
Yeah, I like the call. It's get your best athlete, isolate him, figure out a way to go. Just a tough play, a little bit underthrown. Grady couldn't stop and come back. Regardless, 4th down, try to shift the field right here, make Hoisington drive the length right here. And again, we haven't talked about this a lot. We've talked about special teams touchdowns, but not the kicking game from Southeast, especially from the punt side. Adam Teal needs to shift the field right here.
One of the few times we've had a north wind, that ball on the turf. Teal will pick it up and get away a decent kick after that bad snap, and then it hits a Hoisington player. Southeast coming in for it. There's a scrum between the 25 and 30-yard lines. Let's see who has it. It went right off of a Hoisington Cardinal heel, and now the officials will have to sort it out. Running in for it, Southeast of Saline jumping up and down, and the Trojans have it. The first turnover of the night belongs to Southeast of Saline on the special teams play.
And, Devin, we talked about weather. That's a complete weather play right there. You saw the ball kind of gets up a little bit there. We see a lot of mist, a lot of precipitation still coming along. Right there, you just saw the Hoisington defender still running along, making his block, bounces off the leg, and then all of a sudden, a loose ball squirting around everywhere. Southeast comes up with it. Big-time opportunity for Southeast right here.
I don't know that that's a weather play. Is it just wrong place, wrong time? Should never been in that spot type of play.
Without a doubt.
4:52, Southeast of Saline has the football back. They're going to be at the Hoisington 29-yard line. So a big chunk of yardage picked up there by Southeast. Marion Holub on the end around. Gebhardt with the block. There's a seam by Holub inside the 20, and he's brought down at the 16-yard line. Inside of the Can-Equip red zone is a Marion Holub, brought to you by Case IH and Can-Equip in Solomon. Southeast of Saline down inside of the 20-yard line.
Yeah, David, we talk about all the stars that are out tonight, right? We talk about Hoisington. We talk about Southeast. We know Holub's a star. I don't know if the rest of the state does, but it's guys like that tonight that are going to have to explode for this game to go Southeast way.
Gain of 12 for Holub on first down. Here's a ball on the turf. Tiernan Potacek picks it up. It's a delay to Gebhardt. Gebhardt breaks a tackle, and he goes sprinting through the second level of the Cardinal defense. Grady Gebhardt into the end zone from 17 yards away. Touchdown number 33 on the ground for Double G.
Devin, the composure from Potacek and Gebhardt right there. Balls, it's a poor snap. It comes low. Potacek fields it like a shortstop right there. Not going to be a left-handed shortstop ever. However, fields the ball, but it's the composure between him and Gebhardt to still get that handoff off and to make sure everything happens. Great job from the offensive line.
Southeast going for two. Handoff to Gebhardt inside, looking for the end zone, reaching for the goal line. They're going to say it's good. 2-point conversion, Southeast of Saline. So they saw the Hoisington touchdown, put a punt in the middle of their offensive drive, and they end up with the 2-point conversion going up 8-6. 4:34 left to go first quarter. Trojan football here on KINA.
APAC Kansas Incorporated has been building the Heartland from the ground up for over a century. From the supply of aggregate materials, hot mix asphalt, and concrete to the construction of roads and bridges, we do it all. You've seen our trucks, and now we want to hire you. APAC in Salina is growing, and we are hiring for all positions. From truck drivers to mechanics, general laborers, and construction, APAC has your next career. For more details, visit the job links page at salinapost.com. Great pay and benefits, APAC is an equal opportunity employer.
You're listening to Trojan Football on KINA Sports.
Nothing wrong with just sticking a punt in the middle of your offensive drive, is there? That's what Southeast of Saline did there. All in all, they possessed the football and end up driving down the field 65 yards. Officially, though, that last drive only went from the 29-yard line. That's where Hoisington lost the football off the heel of one of their deep men. I'm not even sure he was a return man at that point, but Southeast of Saline recovers it. It's a fumble, and then Southeast of Saline capitalizes. Grady Gebhardt with a touchdown run, also with a 2-point conversion, and now the Trojans lead it by 2.
And Devin, you're exactly right, just capitalizing on mistakes. I mean, mistakes are going to happen tonight. It's how can you minimize the mistakes that you make as a team. And this is Southeast team. You know, we saw them last year in this round and in the championship round. Like, there's going to be mistakes happen. How do you take care of those?
It's a low line drive bullet off the right foot of Teal, and Hoisington again having trouble getting the football, but finally they get it corralled as Parker Turner, a sophomore, will get it on the ground. A scoring drive recap for Southeast of Saline brought to you by Dr. Andrew Westbrook, Maury Clinic Sports Medicine, Monday and Thursday mornings. Visit Maury Clinic. Dr. Westbrook has a walk-in clinic. You can go see him. If you did something silly over the weekend, or maybe during the week if you want to go see him on Thursday mornings. Dr. Andrew Westbrook, Maury Clinic Sports Medicine. Hoisington will start out their second offensive drive of the game at their own 32-yard line. They will split a receiver to each side. Big play on their last drive was a bomb down the right-hand sideline to Fawnensteel. Here's a pitch out to Morales, and he is chopped at the ankles. Bryson Lippold comes up to greet him and puts him down on the ground. A minimal gain on the stretch play by Morales to the left-hand side of 1 yard.
Yeah, and I'm surprised, and we've seen Hoisington do this quite a bit, that they have a lot of ball security. I mean, this is a team that's done this same offense for years, so the little precipitation we see is not going to change what they do offensively, but I would expect more stuff without the ball in the air. I mean, anytime that ball's in the air with wet weather, it's always dangerous, especially when you have the Southeast defense. But they're going to still go to it. They're going to try to get the perimeter pitch in the football.
From the 33, second down and 9. Splitting out to the left-hand side, Carson Mason. Now pitch out wide to Bryant. He's looking for a crease, trying to negotiate traffic. Now he ends up all the way over on the Hoisington sideline, still in bounds and still warning. Working his way back to the middle of the field. C.J. Bryant is going to be tackled by Caden Berrigan all the way to the 27-yard line.
Yeah, great job from C.J. Bryant when he reversed field. Did a good job putting that ball from the right arm to the left arm so he could still make sure he's making sure defenders aren't getting to that near side of the football. Again, talking about wet football, if he's holding that ball in the right hand, you could just saw multiple Southeast guys trying to punch it out, throws it in the left arm, can still use his right arm to hold defenders off. That's a big-time run from C.J. Bryant and the rest of the Hoisington offense.
40 yards for the Cardinals on that play to C.J. Bryant. Looked like he might have been run out of bounds on the Hoisington sideline, but he worked his way back in. First down now for Hoisington, as they put one wide receiver to the right-hand side. They'll hand it off inside to Morales. He runs off the right-hand side. His ankles are grabbed, and he is taken down as he broke through the line of scrimmage. Boy, there is a lot of big boy hitting inside in the trenches right now.
There really is. I mean, you look at this offensive line from Hoisington. I mean, they are huge. You look at Morales. That's a big kid as well. Then you just look outside to Bafana Steel, another dude. And then you look, and we've talked about the Southeast defense and what they are inside the trenches. I mean, this is just dudes on dudes tonight. Fun opportunity for us.
2nd down and 6. Receivers again, one on each side. Fawn Steel is a receiver off their right-hand side. Big cushion being provided by Southeast of Saline's defensive backs. Here's the rollout. It's going to be a pitch and a catch down to the 14-yard line. Mason Martin exercising his cannon that time as he was able to roll out and hit C.J. Bryant just inside of the 15 at the 14-yard line. It's a gain of 9.
Yeah, and it's awesome to see what Coach Baird from Hoisington has done with this offense. He knows that he has guys. He knows that he's the guys that can throw the ball. Mason Martin can run the ball, but he can also throw the ball. When you can sprinkle it around, you know what it does? It keeps guys around. Because a lot of these kids, they grow up in a flex bone. They might not want to run it in high school, but hey, we'll let you throw it a little bit. They'll stay at Hoisington. You can go compete for state championships every year.
Hoisington can throw. Mason Martin over 1,000 yards this year. He doesn't turn the ball over. Here's a handoff to Morales. They'll try the left-hand side this time. Lippold there, first to make contact with him, and it will be a 4-yard gain down to the 11 for Talon Morales. He talked about Zach Baird. His record at Hoisington is a phenomenal one. It almost mirrors what Mitch Gebhardt has done at Southeast of Saline. Zach Baird, just from down the road on Highway 4, he's a Harrington railer.
No comments about that. Having my in-laws from Hope. We won't get into that Hope-Harrington rivalry right there. But, yeah, Zach Baird's just a great job. And, again, I just love coaches that can take what they love to do and then just kind of twist it a little bit for the athletes that they have.
2nd and 6 from the 11. Dropped. Football on the turf. It's going to be free. It's going to be a wrestling match, but it's Morales that comes up with it. He had a beat on that football. I think he was supposed to maybe go in for a fake handoff, maybe a little play action. So Morales had his eyes on the football from the beginning, and it will actually end up gaining about a half a yard for Hoisington on the recovery.
Yeah, really fortunate from Hoisington that Morales is just heads up. I mean, that ball was just rolling around. Like you said, I don't think he had expected the ball to be anywhere near him. All of a sudden, he had the ball at his feet. He felt it, went down. That's a huge play from Hoisington to maintain possession and give themselves a 3rd and 5.
3rd down and 5. Football sitting just outside of the 10-yard line for the Cardinals. Nobody wide. They're going to hand it to Morales. He sticks his nose in there, and he's going to come away with just 2 yards, and it's a 4th down coming up for the Cardinals. 9 carries, 31 yards unofficially for Talon Morales.
And here we are now, like, you can see the play clock and the game clock. Play clock, less time. I would expect a hard count. I mean, I don't even know if they'll run a play. They might just get together and talk about this. Huge play right here. 4th and 3 inside of the Southeast Saline defense's 10-yard line.
What a insanely fast first quarter of football we just had here. And as you would expect, a lot of running is going to take that clock down. Now down to 4, and that'll be the last play of the first quarter. At the end of 1, Southeast of Saline leads Hoisington, but the Cardinals are knocking on the door. Second quarter coming up. It's 8-6. Southeast of Saline. It's presented by Abilene Termite and Pest Control.
Insurance is something we all need in our business, home, car, and life. But do you really understand what's covered? And most importantly, what you are paying for? Hi, this is Rob Carlson in the Salina office of Smart Insurance. Change is good, especially if you haven't looked at your insurance policy lately. I can help you understand what you need and where the gaps are in your coverage. We provide free quotes and take pride in looking out for you. Smart Insurance, with locations in Salina, Abilene, and Harrington. Give us a call today.
Mary Maids in Salina offers house cleaning services you can see and feel. Your home is more than just a house. It's where memories are made and moments are cherished. Though life can be complicated, house cleaning shouldn't be. Mary Maids strives to take the stress out of your day so you can live your life your way. With more than 40 years experience and an advanced time-tested cleaning process, they can help you reclaim time with your loved ones. Find Mary Maids on Facebook or check out their website at marymaids.com.
You are listening to Southeast Trojan Football on KINA Sports.
Welcome back to the Bennington State Bank broadcast booth. Devin Haney, Tyler Smith, bringing you sub-state football action. 8-6, Southeast of Saline, and a big 4th down for the Hoisington Cardinals. They are in the red zone. They're at the 8-yard line, and they have a 4th down and 3 coming up here to start the second quarter. One wide receiver, and he's even out that wide in Fadensteel. They're going to go away from him, try to get it up in the seam, and Southeast of Saline's defense says, I don't think so. It's going to be close to see where they hash this out. Southeast of Saline's defense, Brody Chambers saying first down the other way. Let's see what they decide here as they look on the sideline at the chains.
Tackle by Tristan Swank, just short of the first down.
And they're going to say turnover on downs. What a big play by sophomore Tristan Swank.
And Devin, they had Pafanis on the right side. I'm expecting something to the wide side. You have all this room over here with the ball on the left hash. They decided to kind of use him as a decoy, go the other way. That's the issue with this defensive line. When you have a Swank and a Chambers, you can use these guys interchangeable. They can both do so many things, and it's Swank that makes the big tackle.
Jaron Patachi has his heels on his own goal line. He'll hand it off to Grady Gebhardt. Gebhardt starts out, sprint left. He'll make it out to the 10-yard line, and a gain of 4 on first down brings up second down and 6.
Yeah, huge drive right here, but huge to get to the sticks. You got to get a first down right here, just kind of shift the field a little bit. We saw how important the punt was the last time Southeast punted, but you got to get a first down here. Like, that's goal number 1. Goal every single drive is first down, but you got to really fight hard to get a first down right here, and that play helped out immensely.
Southeast out to the 10, pitch out left-hand side. Gebhardt looking for space, has a couple of blockers, but boy, look at that tackle. Logan Kossel in there sticking his head in the middle of the action, and he limits Grady Gebhardt to about a football on the play. We'll call it a yard, and it'll bring up third down.
Yeah, Logan Kossel just came. We talk about this a lot of times from, the defensive backs from Southeast, but he came through like a missile right there, had lead blockers in front of him, ran right through Lippold. We've seen Lippold do great things in the perimeter blocking. Logan Kossel, great play right there. Big time tackle on Gebhardt. Now makes a 3rd and 5 for Southeast of Saline.
3rd down and 5, ball sitting at the 11. Big down here for Southeast of Saline to continue this drive and buy some yardage. Kenyon Douglas on the fake end around. It's going to be a slip screen. And boy, Hoisington did their film study on that one. They had 3 Cardinals around Grady Gebhardt. And Grady catches the football, but it's going to go for a loss. Back to the 9-yard line. Southeast of Saline will lose 2 yards on that screen.
Devin, I can't count on one hand how many times a screen play has not worked from Southeast. I can maybe think of 2 or 3. That definitely right there. Film study and Pafanistil saw that, makes a great read, but did the more difficult thing. You can read plays, and Grady Gebhardt will still beat you. He wrapped up Gebhardt. It's a great play from Hoisington.
Teal to punt out of the back of his own end zone. Carson Mason back to receive for Hoisington. It's a low line drive spiraling kick that'll bounce at the 37. Now take a Southeast of Saline bounce to the Trojan logo at midfield, and Hoisington will have the football at the 49-yard line. Our chance to remind you, Southeast of Saline playoff football tonight, brought to you by Aeroplanes, Salina's newest housing development in Phase 1 at Aeroplanes. There are just 5 homes remaining, and they have a great cashback discount just in time for the holidays. That offer stands until the end of November. Go to aeroplanes.com for more information. Also, Cale Sharp, Shelter Insurance. He's one of your shelter insurance agents in Salina. And Cale Sharp rooting on the Trojans and the Mustangs tonight. Of course, Salina Central on the road in Great Bend for a 7 o'clock matchup in 5A. That is also on Salina Post with live video. Here's a screen play out on the wide receiver to Carson Mason, and he danced around enough until he was taken down after a 1-yard loss. Great play there by the Southeast defense.
Yeah, it's Caden Berrigan. As he's dancing around, Berrigan just shoots through multiple blockers and makes a big-time tackle to limit that to just a 1-yard gain from Hoisington. Good job from Caden Berrigan on the perimeter.
Move the football to the 48-yard line. 2nd down and 9. 8-6, Southeast of Saline. 9.5 minutes left to go here before halftime. 2nd down at midfield for the Cardinals. They want to stretch it out again. Here's Bryant on the stretch play. Patachik's out there with him. Also Malachi Hopkins in our first flags of the game here on the same play as Hoisington trying to stretch out to the right-hand side. But look how Tiernan Patachik read that play, Tyler. He was all over that one.
Yeah, he turned that to the outside. But Hopkins on Pafanistil outside's a funky matchup for Hopkins because this is a flexbone team. More than likely, you're just worried about Pafanistil, the receiver. Pafanistil comes out. He gets hands on you as a blocker, and he's a tough guy to get. Hopkins did a good job just battling the entire time, got to the outside, got leverage, but Fonistel could only do one thing, and that was grab onto Hopkins. Give credit to Hopkins right there for creating that holding call on Hoisington.
You know, we talk about Malachi, right, and the advancement that he's made from last year to this year. I'm not sure he'd be up for this challenge as a junior. He is now.
Without a doubt. Like, this guy's a dude. He's an absolute dude. He plays way bigger than he is. He plays way faster than he is. He wants contact. He wants to be nasty. And you don't see that a lot of times from cornerbacks. And a lot of times if you have a cornerback that doesn't want to be nasty, you're going to beat up against this type of offense. He wants all the smoke. Great play from Hopkins.
2nd down and 11 after the penalty. He puts the football back at the 50-yard line. Pitch out wide side to Morales, left-hand side, looking for some space. Has some space, works his way nearly to the sideline, and he's taken down over there just short of the sticks. Looks like Grady Gebhardt maybe over there on the tackle for Southeast of Saline.
And Devin, what I like the most about this offense, regardless if they're in the gun or in the flex bone, they're still utilizing the athleticism and the size of their offensive line right there. It's
another flag at Tyler.
Ooh,
hidden on the other side of the other hash.
Yeah, it's going to be big, but I'll tell you what, Coach Baird continues to utilize another hold on Hoisington, and that's what's difficult against the Southeast defense. They have the speed, they have the size. Hoisington hasn't seen a defense with this much speed and size all season. It's different matchups for them all. That's huge. That now puts them way behind the chains. 2nd and 17 for Hoisington.
So that'll move them back, and they're not as bad penalties. They're spot fouls down the field quite a way, so it's not as detrimental as what you may think. As you said, 2nd down, and they're getting backed up here to the 44-yard line. So that one they only lost 6 yards, and it's still 2nd down. 8-6, Southeast of Saline. Hoisington pitching out again, that left-hand side. They're going to make it back to the 50 on the pitch out to Morales, and that will be a gain of 6 to Taylor Morales, who already has 10 carries in this game.
Yeah, Drew Weller right there just did a good job just pursuing the ball. Just goes down the defensive line, continues to make sure he has a good angle. You can't run straight down the line against Morales. You got to get an angle. Weller did a good job, limited that to just a limited gain as opposed to a big gain because Morales had a full head of steam ahead of him.
Nose of the football at the 50-yard line, 3rd down and 11. Vaughn and Steele will split out here to the right-hand side. Brody will be lined up with Canyon Douglas this time on a 3rd and 11. They fake the pitch out left-hand side. Rolling out to pass, still looking. Brody Chambers in there. Now they get rid of it to Morales. He catches the ball out in front, and he may have gotten 2 yards. As Tristan Swank, Killian Vaughn in there on the action.
Well, and just a great defensive call from Southeast Saline. They had Bufano still flanked with two defensive backs. They did a cornerback and a safety over top. Really difficult to get the ball to him. All of a sudden, that just broke that whole play down. Looked like it was going to be a little toss, a little rollout. All of a sudden, that broke down. Good time. Big-time play from Southeast defense.
4th and 9. Hoisington showing they're going to go for it, but they are a quick kick team. I remember that for the last several years. Mason Martin is back now in a short drop punt formation. Southeast of Saline doesn't have anybody back, and now Hoisington's going to jump up front. They jumped, you jumped.
Yeah, we did. And so we talked about these things, like these little 50-50 plays, these 50-50 balls, or just what pressure does to you. We've seen Southeast in this situation last year. You're the defending state champs. You've handled these situations. We're kind of seeing Hoisington struggle with big-time plays and big-time situations.
That's the 3rd big penalty on this drive. It was a procedure penalty. Somebody jumped early, 5-yarder. It'll put Hoisington now back to the 43-yard line. Now, Southeast of Saline will put Tiernan Potacek back deep. He's standing between his own 20 and 25-yard lines. Here's the snap back, and the kick is going to be up. Tiernan Potacek wanting a fair catch, and he takes it at the 22-yard line. Mason Martin uncorking the short high punt that time. So Southeast of Saline's offense comes out. 7:26 left to go here in the second quarter. They lead at 8-6.
And Devin, what a big-time play from Tiernan right there. This is something you won't see in the stats. That ball gets by him. It could squirt another 15, 19 yards. Couldn't go 20, go to the end zone or 21. He makes a fair catch. We've already seen him make a shortstop-type play where he handed the ball off to Gebhardt. His dad's the head baseball coach. You think he is not used to balls just flying at him right there? Great job from Potacek for the fair catch.
Holub in motion. They're going to hand it off to Gebhardt, who comes straight ahead. He's going to spin his way across the 25. And he will have the 26-yard line. It's a gain of 3 on 1st down for Grady Gebhardt, who so far has been a non-factor depending on how you look at his performance. He has 31 yards, but that's not Grady Gebhardt type of performance.
Well, and I think tonight a Grady Gebhardt type performance is 25 carries and then whatever yards. You might not see a lot of yardage early on, but you keep wearing them down. You see this offensive line, you keep using Grady, you're going to see those numbers spike, but you just keep feeding the ball and relying on that offensive line.
6:49 left to go. Second down, back to Gebhardt. He should have lost yards. Now he's going to spin off the defender, try to stretch it to the right-hand side, puts his hand down, and now comes out to the 30, and will make it to about the 31 on a gain of 4. What a run that was. The most exciting 4-yard run you're probably ever going to see.
Yeah, what a run, but also a great play from Hoisington, because you saw right there, like they had him in the backfield, and then all of a sudden you see that it's number 17, it's Carson Mason that comes through, gets a leg on him, and Gebhardt's still able to fall forward for another 2 or 3 yards.
They're going to say his knee was down, Tyler, where he put his hand down. They're going to give him a spot back at the 29. So it's 3rd down and 4 now for Southeast of Saline. Pitch out Gebhardt, left-hand side, has a couple of blockers. Now he's going to reverse field, has his work cut out for him. He's going to make it to the sideline. It's a 1st down, Southeast of Saline. Grady had 3 blockers out in front on the left-hand side, did not like what he saw, put it in reverse, went the other way, and got the 1st down.
And you see Patochik on the other side just getting in the way. He's doing a smart quarterback job. He's not laying any blocks. He would lay a block if he needed to. Got in the way enough. That's all Gebhardt right there. You saw the play breakdown as it was called. The toss to the left wasn't there. Gebhardt reverses field. That's a good 1st down for Southeast.
What a play by Grady Gebhardt. 6 minutes left to go, 2nd quarter. Southeast of Saline with a new set of downs. Back to Gebhardt. He's going to come right up the middle and gets to the line of scrimmage, and then one more on a 1-yard gain. His 9th carry of the evening.
Devin, this defensive line from Hoisington is just super impressive. Leighton Hoffman is an absolute load right there at nose. You know, everything that we talk about Swank and, you know, we talk about Chambers, we talk about everybody on the Southeast side. He's doing the exact same thing for Hoisington.
Leighton Huffman's 280 right in the middle of that defensive line. Patochik rolling out, has Hollum. Amarian tried to turn it upfield, but he stepped out of bounds, ran out of room at the 44-yard line. It's a gain of 9. Tiernan Patochik to Amarian Hollum.
And, Devin, that play's huge because now all of a sudden in 3rd and 1, it's going to give you 2 plays here. I think we know how Mitch Gebhardt likes to call plays. If you don't get it on 3rd and 1, it's going to be something simple right here. If you don't get it, you're probably going to go for it on 4th down. That's a big-time reception from Amarian Hollum.
We still have light rain or a heavy mist, depending on where you want to draw that razor-thin line. Southeast of Saline has brought the football out to the 44-yard line, and it's another 1st down. They would have had a game of 1st down on that play with 5:31 left to go. Could have been 3rd and short. They said he got the sticks. 1st down. Patochik wants to go deep. Rips it down the left-hand sideline. Hopkins with the catch. Has it at the 20. Steps over the defender. And he's going to score. Malachi Hopkins down the field. Just mossed a Hoisington defender. And he's into the end zone. Patochik to Hopkins. Put 6 on the board.
Devin, the amount of contact right there that Hopkins had to fight through. I'm surprised there's not a flag. There was just hand fighting. There was pushing. There was all kinds of tugging going on. Hopkins wanted the ball more. Then after he catches the ball, still has to break through all that contact. Malachi Hopkins, what a catch. What a huge touchdown for Southeast of Saline.
What a play. Not only to make the catch, he kept it all in bounds and then stepped over the defender who had fallen down and took it into the end zone. Here's the 2-point conversion. Hollop on the stretch play. Has a couple of Cardinals to beat. He cannot. They swarm him over and take him out of bounds. Southeast of Saline, though, puts another 6 on the board. 5:23 left to go before halftime. Southeast 14, Hoisington 6, and it's presented by Abilene Termite and Pest Control.
The hours of drills, the pre-dawn workouts, the hundreds of laps. It takes hard work, passion, and drive to do what you love. When you're sidelined by injury, Salina Regional Sports Medicine is just as committed and works just as hard to get you back in the game. Salina Regional Sports Medicine, 785-452-7366. SalinaRegionalSportsMedicine.com.
You're listening to Southeast of Saline football on KINA.
A big play on 1st down. Don't underestimate the little hitch route on the out by Marion Hollop to pick up the 1st down. But then on the very next play, 1st down, Southeast of Saline rips one down the left-hand sideline. Tiernan Patochik to Malachi Hopkins. For Malachi on the season, that is his 3rd touchdown, his 19th reception, and it puts Southeast of Saline up by 8, 14-6. And again, I feel like the last 2 weeks now we've talked about PAT opportunities. Missing that 2-point conversion there for Southeast of Saline leaves us a 1-possession game.
Yeah, without a doubt. And we were kind of both shocked to see Hoisington go for 2 after their 1st touchdown. You know, if you just play the game traditionally, you might have yourself a chance. But they scored first. They understand what Southeast normally does. They find themselves in an 8-point deficit.
Malachi ready to kick the ball away. Single deep man for Hoisington. The ball's not going to get there. Hoisington will pick it up. It's Morales at the 25. Looking for some blocks. He slips a tackle, gets across the 35 into the 40-yard line before he's taken down there. Josh Watkins, Tyler Bramblett on the play. Also for Southeast of Salina, it's Elijah Kerr.
And Devin, obviously every possession is huge, but you feel like this one has a lot of magnitude to it. You have a 14-6 lead. Depending on how this possession goes, with Southeast receiving the ball to start the second half, we talk about the 2-for-1s that Southeast always does. This is a big-time stand the defense needs to kind of give that 2-for-1 opportunity.
That last drive for Southeast of Salina, of course, had the big play in there, but it's a 77-yard scoring drive as we check the Dr. Andrew Westbrook recap on that play. First down for Hoisington, wanting to stretch it out to the right-hand side. It's Bryant, the big play hitter, runs into Hopkins and then gets cleaned up from behind by Brody Chambers, Tristan Swank, and Grady Gebhardt. It's a gain of 5 on the play.
But, Devin, it's what Canyon Douglas, I know it's a 5-yard game, but what Canyon Douglas taking on that outside blocker with the inside shoulder, doing everything fundamentally sound, he turns that play to the inside.
We have a stoppage in play. It looks like we might get a pigskin replacement. Hoisington will have the football out to the 44 after that gain. Gain of 5 yards. Nose of the football now at the 44. 4:57 left to go. Talk to Southeast of Saline Schools Superintendent Roger Stumpf coming up at halftime. Get an update on everything going on. Of course, an exciting time right now with football and basketball going on at the same time. Middle school, junior high, they're all hooping it up right now. Of course, the high school team's getting ready to do so. Looks like Lyric Lilly getting some medical attention over here on the sideline by the Salina Regional Orthopedic and Sports Medicine trainers. And now we have another stoppage in play. That's a 30-second timeout for the Cardinals. 4:38 left to go. Southeast of Saline 14, Hoisington 6. We'll step away for a 30-second timeout. Back with more Trojan football.
Life is loud, chaotic, hilarious, and occasionally peaceful. Your life fits you, so why settle for life insurance that fits someone else? At Shelter Insurance, our local agents help you design a personal protection plan backed by award-winning customer service. We're your shield. We're your shelter. Shelter Life Insurance Company, Columbia, Missouri.
For a free personal protection review, contact Shelter Agent Cale Sharp in Salina.
You are listening to Southeast Trojan Football.
Back here in the Bennington State Bank broadcast booth, Devin Haney, Tyler Smith, Brian Dinitz up on the roof. Lord bless him. Up there just getting that video. Live stream video brought to you by Abilene Termite and Pest Control, also Bennington State Bank, helping us bring you playoff action. It is second down for Hoisington. They have one receiver out to the right. It's play action. They're going to keep it, though. Grady Gebhardt runs right into Mason Martin, the Hoisington quarterback, who kept it on that play. Heck of a collision. Martin got the better of it, though, I think, as he still moved it forward, and it's going to be 3rd down and 1 out to the 48-yard line.
Yeah, really beneficial spot for Southeast. Looks like Martin might have fell forward. How about I get my correct verbiage and adjectives or whatever, correct English. But tell you what, Mason Martin's fun to watch run the ball, right? He's always going to fall forward. This kid's tough as nails. You can see why this Hoisington team is where they are right now in the season.
3rd and 1 for the Cardinals. They still have Fahnensteel split out to the right. Martin's going to hand it off inside to Morales, and he will twist his way through a crowd, and then he's brought down at about the 42-yard line. First down, Hoisington. They'll move it across midfield now into Southeast of Saline territory to the 47,
And so the clock is always an issue with flexbone teams, but this team, like we've said, is so much different because they can spread you out. They can go to the gun. They can sprinkle the ball around and throw it to the outside. They can do so many things. And what makes it tough, and this is why it's tough when you can do things like this with the same personnel offensively, is you have the same defensive personnel. What helps Southeast have is you have 3 down defensive linemen, which means you can still have defensive backs taking care of people that spread out.
It looks like Southeast has 5 linebackers right now, the way everybody's dancing around with those 3 down linemen that you spoke of. Here's the fake pitch out to the left-hand side of the Southeast defense, and they hand it off inside, and Brody Chambers there to swallow it up. He also got an assist from a Marion Hollup in the hole that time. What a play that was by Chambers and Hollup. Gain of 1. Second down and 9 now coming up for the Cards. Football at the 46-yard line. Hoisington just kind of methodically going through a huddle here, not worried about the clock right now. 2:53 left to go here in the second. Operating off right hash are the Cardinals. They'll hand it off. Morales back inside. He just keeps that pile moving. He was dancing that time. Tiernan Potachik, Grady Gebhardt both in there. And boy, he's just running hard. Taylor Morales gets to the 41 on a gain of 5. He has 12 carries already unofficially for 47 yards. And that'll bring up 3rd down and 4 for the Cardinals here of Hoisington. Both these teams undefeated this season. Southeast of Salina, of course, 11-0. Hoisington 10-0. They were a game short because they had a game get lightninged out, if that's a word. I just made it. That's when they were playing Scott City at home earlier in the season. Here's Morales inside. Has a first down, and he's going to break out. He's going to have some more yardage. Amarion Hollable running down from behind. And Taylor Morales makes it to the 26-yard line. It's a gain of 15 for Taylor Morales, and it's his longest play of the night in the rushing game as Hoisington now will get a first down. They advance the football all the way to the 26.
Yeah, Devin, by the way, way wetter down here than we anticipated. All right, so, I mean, we kind of talked about what weather would be like. Now that I'm outside, I wish it was you. But, yeah, this weather is creating a different type of environment down here for these guys.
First down and 10 for Hoisington from the southeast of Saline, 26-yard line. They're going to give it to Morales up inside. Actually, that's quarterback keeper Mason Martin that time. And Martin will break off a decent chunk of yardage. Tyler, you've told me all season long how you think you could call a whole game down on the sidelines. Well, there you are, bud.
Yeah, here we are. And I'll tell you what, you could see things way better down here. So here's where things get funny, right? Like we talk about the Southeast defense. Their strength has been inside the red zone. They're going to give, but we haven't seen them break a lot. And I'll tell you what, you want to have a defense like that, that's going to test you right here.
Second down and 4 for the Cardinals. They'll move a man. It's Kossel. Fake pitch to him, left-hand side. Now moving out to the right is Martin. He's going to let it go to the end zone. It's a jump ball, and it's incomplete. 2 southeast of Saline defenders back deep that time for the Trojans. Tiernan Potachik, of course, in his safety spot, but also Caden Berrigan on coverage that time. And that incomplete pass will bring up a 3rd down and stop the clock with 56.2 seconds left to go here in the second quarter.
Devin, I'm going to tell you, from here, the Southeast defensive backs are beat. C.J. Bryant needs to come up with that play. Everything looked good from Hoisington. Both Southeast defenders were up a little bit too far. Nobody was behind Bryant. The ball was just a little bit overthrown. Huge play. Very beneficial in Southeast, their point of view, from that ball being overthrown.
3rd and 4 for the Cardinals. 56 seconds left to go. Little pump fake to the right. Now back over the middle. It's going to be tipped at the line of scrimmage and incomplete. 4th down coming up for Hoisington. Tipping that football, I believe it was Tristan Swank.
Yes, Devin, you talk about right there. You talk about screen games. What do you do with your screen games? You figure out a way to get the ball to your best player when you get through that big defensive line. That's exactly what Hoisington was trying to do right there. They're trying to get the entire defensive line and trying to get that first 2 levels to fight through, trying to get them to blitz through, trying to get the ball to Pafana Steele. But it's Swank that gets his big mitt on the football right there. Huge play from the sophomore Tristan Swank.
4th down and 4 for Hoisington. They're going to go for it here from the southeast of Saline 20-yard line. Man in motion. They're rolling out to the right-hand side. Martin looking to pass is going to unload one. It's going to be complete at the 10. Diving, making the catch. It's going to be Kossel down at the 10. It's a first down for Hoisington. Just inside of the 10-yard line.
Oh, the patience from Martin right there was just elite. He had open receivers, and then all of a sudden he didn't have open spaces to throw, and all of a sudden when he had a clear path, threw it to Kossel. Great catch from Kossel. That's a big play from Hoisington right there.
Logan Kossel coming in on offense, getting a 10-yard reception that time. Now the line of scrimmage will be moved to the 10-yard line, where it's first down and another timeout taken. This will leave Hoisington now with 1 timeout left to use in the first half. I want to thank Abilene Termite and Pest Control, presenting sponsor of tonight's football game here in this sub-state matchup. The right to go to state on the line. Abilene Termite and Pest Control, your locally owned termite and pest control company in Abilene for 74 years. Just because they're called Abilene Termite and Pest Control doesn't mean you can't use them wherever you may live. They serve southeast of Saline, Saline County, and central Kansas, from Wamego all the way out to Ellsworth. Call Abilene Termite and Pest Control. Give Kurt Phillips a call. He'd be happy to do business with you. Also, Cale Sharp, Shelter Insurance, and Bennington State Bank. Live stream video on SalinaPost.com right now. Not only this game, but also Salina Central taking on Great Bend right now in Great Bend in Class 5A.
Great Bend 6.
Devin, only one timeout for Hoisington. Things can get tricky down here if you get a stop up the middle.
Mason Martin ducks under center. We haven't seen that a lot here in this game. He's going to hand it off to Morales. Morales will make it to the 5-yard line, and then he is tackled there. And the clock will stop, and Hoisington will elect to use their last timeout, it looks like. They're going to move the chains. Excuse me, the chains are down. It's second down and goal from the 5, correct?
Yes, second down and goal from inside the 5. Looks like about 4.5. So, again, here's where things get interesting, right? Like, if you're Coach Baird offensively, you're telling your guys, if we run the ball up the middle, right, we got to quickly get back in that huddle, or you get to the line of scrimmage, check with me situation, or you're looking the perimeter. You're looking to get the ball to the outside where you can get out of bounds if you can't get to the end zone, or you're looking to throw the ball. The entire playbook's wide open right here. You have plenty of time, and we see 38.6, tons of time to do whatever you want. But those are just things you need to think about if you're going to see like a play up the middle, and all of a sudden that clock's going to continue to roll. You cannot stop the clock unless there's a dead ball. There's no first down stoppage right now with a goal situation to go.
Southeast of Saline scheduled to receive the opening kick to start the second half. So you can see kind of the little bit of urgency here for Hoisington to get some points on the board. They trail by 8, 14-6 right now, 38.6 seconds, and the ball just inside of the 5-yard line as the Cardinals come out. And once again, Mason Martin, the quarterback, will duck under center. Has Morales directly behind him. Here comes a man in motion. They pitch it out to Bryant. He's looking for the end zone, and he's going to get it in on the right-hand side. Just inside of the pylon, C.J. Bryant will score a touchdown for Hoisington, and that will pull the Cardinals within 2.
Yeah, Devin, just a great play call right there. We talked about it. If you're going to run the ball, you got to run it to the outside so you can get out of bounds. If you can't get in the end zone, but just great blocking from Hoisington right there. There were hats on hats. Southeast couldn't do anything. There were just more white hats than there were purple hats. It's a good play call from Coach Baird and Hoisington.
Hoisington will line up to go for 2 now and try to tie this game with about a half a minute left to go. Heavy on the left-hand side. Morales will take the direct snap. He wants to roll out to the left. He was going to put it in the end zone, and it's incomplete. Hoisington leaves another 2 points out onto the field. So with 34.7 seconds left to go, Hoisington scores 6, but they will still trail by 2, 14-12, as we start to turn the page and look into halftime. Don't forget, Tyler will have comments from Coach Gebhardt right before he goes into the locker room to talk to his guys at halftime. We'll also check the Bennington State Bank scoreboard. We hit the half as the other games going on, all 36 games across the state of Kansas. And also, Roger Stumpf will join us here at halftime, too. We'll try to cover most everything with Southeast of Saline Schools. There's a lot going on right now, so that conversation will be fun coming up here at halftime. 34.7 seconds. Tyler, what are you trying to do here if you're Southeast?
The return will dictate everything, I think. You have all 3 timeouts. I mean, obviously, you talked about how Southeast is receiving the ball after the halftime break. You get a big return. We've seen this team do it multiple times. We see them want to go. However, we haven't seen, weather conditions like this. We haven't seen, a game of this magnitude. We haven't seen a score this close at halftime. So I think this return will dictate your offensive mindset in the last 34.7 seconds if you're Coach Gebhardt.
Of course, the winner of this game will get the winner of Osage City and Nemaha Central. Those two doing battle right now in the East in Seneca. 3 of the 4 teams left in Class 2A undefeated. And as I said in the onset, Hoisington, Southeast of Saline, and Nemaha Central, when you look at those 3, at least one of those schools has participated in 5 of the last 6 state championship games. Here's the approach. Martin will kick it. It's going to take a 1 bounce to Kenyon Douglas. Now goes through his legs. Kenyon has to go back and recover it all the way back to the 1-yard line. Now he's going to return face, come back the other way. Look out, Kenyon Douglas on his feet. Kenyon might house this. 30, 40, midfield, 50, across midfield to the 40, 30. Does Kenyon Douglas have enough steam? He's at the 10. He's at the 5. He's falling into the end zone. Touchdown, Kenyon Douglas from 99 yards away. KD, playoff KD, puts another touchdown on the board.
Holy smokes, Devin. Here's what happens. That's what happens when we talk about a lot of times a bad snap throws all the timing off. It was right there. It was the bobbled kick. All of a sudden, Douglas bobbles it around. The pursuit was just horrible from Hoisington because they're coming down in their normal angles. They're coming down. We talk about these 50-50 plays, these plays that you can't practice. It's those plays that right now Southeast continues to win. They're a team that's done this before. Huge from Douglas.
Hoisington is apt to do this, and I say that just watching some film. Here's a two-point conversion. Fake to Holub. Potachik rolling out as Caden Berrigan wide open in the back of the end zone, and Southeast of Saline drops 2 points into the bucket. They will take a 10-point lead, and what a swing here at Steve Fritz Field on the campus of Southeast of Saline High School. We'll keep it right here to close out the half. And Tyler, I say that because just watching film this week and going through some things, you said it. You said the lanes, the pursuit, where you should be on the field. Horrible that time by Hoisington. Scott City did about the same thing to them on the opening kickoff of the Scott City-Hoisington game. Scott City returned a kick for a touchdown off the right-hand side of the field.
And, Devin, we talk about playing to the echo of the whistle. And we talk about how sometimes we see Southeast getting in trouble for that. We'll see a flag because, we'll see Chambers drive somebody into the ground after the echo of the whistle. They don't stop until they hear a whistle. I think some Hoisington players just stopped right there. They thought the ball got to the end zone. They didn't know what was going on. There was never a whistle. So what Canyon Douglas did is what Canyon Douglas always does. He played until he heard a whistle. Didn't hear a whistle until he's in the end zone. Just what a play from the senior Canyon Douglas.
Is it not one of those plays, though, as a coach, where he chases that thing all the way back to the goal line and you're going, oh, no, oh, no, yes. Oh, no, oh, yes, oh, yeah.
Exactly, because we don't see a lot of under center snaps. Like you're thinking right there for Coach Gebhardt, like we got to go under center. We got to take some knees. Like what are you going to do? And all of a sudden Douglas comes out. We saw a swipe of the ankles, almost lost his footing on the 10 and just drove the last 90 yards.
Leaves 16.9 seconds left. Now instead of a 2-point lead, it's a 10-point lead as Southeast of Saline will kind of onside it here. It's not really a squib. It's more of an onside angled kick that Hoisington will cover up at the 43-yard line. Canyon all the way back. Correct me if I'm wrong, Tyler. You had a much better look. He retreated all the way back to the 1-yard line.
I would say 1. Honestly, I'm looking at that whole thing going, you got to get outside of the 10, right? Because we go back to talking about that shotgun snap. We haven't seen a lot of under center. We've seen the victory formation. You're inside the 5. You're in trouble. He got outside, and holy smokes.
See if Hoisington wants to take a big shot here. They're going to drop back. Mason Martin looking left. Now he's going to come back to the right. Flushed out of the pocket. He's being chased. Martin looking for space, and there is none as he's shoved out of bounds by a Marion Holub after about a 4-yard gain. A 4-yard rush, and getting out of bounds will stop the clock for quarterback Mason Martin.
And again, you're seeing this flanking of Pafanistal, right? You're seeing Hopkins on the top side. You're throwing cornerbacks, defensive backs. You got Lippold also out here, but you're always seeing Hopkins staying on top of Pafanistal. I'm thinking right now, you got to find 22. You got to make sure you know where he is, and you got to make sure there's multiple bodies. Right now, you see Lippold's going to give him some problems. You're going to see Hopkins drop back. Might be a decoy if they go the other way.
From the 45. Martin turning the ball in his hands, looking. He's going to be chased. Chambers nearly had him. Now he'll step up in the pocket. He's going to let it go. Down the right-hand sideline, ball up for grabs, and Malachi Hopkins knocks it down. Intended receiver was Logan Kossel that time. He falls down, and that will bring us to the end of the first half. And this Southeast crowd that has braved this weather, boy, they are into this game as they await halftime here at Steve Fritz Field. We will get the conversation between Tyler and Mitch Gebhardt. 22-12, though. You talk about, okay, we're going in the locker room potentially with a 2-point lead, and momentum just kind of split 50-50. Southeast made sure that didn't happen. Canyon Douglas on that kick return grabs all the momentum and makes it purple.
Devin, quotas from last week. What do we say after that? After that punt return touchdown, we said this won't be the last special teams touchdown that we see.
Great point.
And look at this. Look how much it shifted. I got Coach Gebhardt with me. Coach, I'm going to make this very quick. I know you got a lot of things to do. Up 22-12. We discussed last week, first special teams touchdown of the season was last week. How big was Canyon Douglas's touchdown right there?
That was huge. I mean, for him to just get the ball picked up was a big deal. And then we had a couple good blocks there, and that was a huge play for us. Going in, and we get the ball to start the second half too. So that was a big deal.
Coach, we're going to make it very quick. We know you get a lot you'd rather be doing than talking to me. Go get him, Coach.
Thank you very much. On the field, that's Tyler Smith on the Salina Ortho sidelines talking with Mitch Gebhardt as he goes into the locker room here at the break. 22-12, our halftime score. Southeast of Saline leads it by 10. When we come back, we'll check scores from across the state of Kansas on the Bennington State Bank scoreboard. Also, stats from the first half with Southeast of Saline and Hoisington. Also, Superintendent of Schools Roger Stump will join us when we come back. We'll get an update on everything going on around Southeast of Saline as the Trojans have a 10-point lead here at halftime, and it's brought to you by Knopf Auto and Truck Accessories on KINA.
It's natural to think that insurance is complicated, but at Farmers Agency, we know a thing or two about helping to make it easier by explaining your available coverage options. And with over 25 years of experience in insurance, we can help you through the process step by step. Call Kniper Agency at 825-8419 to learn more today.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
We are farmers. Bum, ba, bum, 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 bum.
Cole, do you remember what happened last Thanksgiving?
Do I remember? How could I forget? Guy tried cramming a whole turkey down the garbage disposal. Bones, skin, stuffing, the works.
And mashed potatoes.
And the gravy. Don't get me started on the gravy. Then the septic tank backs up. 10 people in one house with one working bathroom. And Aunt Jan falls in the yard trying to pee behind the shed.
That's when you had to transform.
Flush! The freakishly fast frog!
Yep, too much water, too much food, and not enough room in the tank. That's what you call a Brown Friday overload.
That's why we're telling folks now.
Get your septic system checked before your guests arrive.
At Lily Pad Septic, we guarantee to inspect your septic system within 24 hours.
Or you get a free septic pump out worth $399.
If you need a flush in a rush, call Lily Pad Septic.
Lily Pad Septic.com.
Don't let Thanksgiving dinner wreck your drains.
And please, don't make Aunt Jan pee behind the shed.
The Bennington State Bank proudly supports local sports and wants each student to know that their hard work and talent is noticed and appreciated. At Bennington State Bank, they care about local communities and are committed to fostering long-term relationships through the delivery of excellent customer service, integrity, and fairness. From helping local businesses to supporting community youth and nonprofits to helping you purchase your dream home or invest in your future, Bennington State Bank is here to help. Give them a call to experience exceptional banking with hometown service. Bennington State Bank, your trusted hometown bank. Member FDIC.
When the time comes to honor a life, Hire Scott Mortuary in Salina is here with care, compassion, and guidance every step of the way. Celebrate memories, cherish family, and find comfort in tradition. Hire Scott Mortuary, celebrating life, embracing legacy.
In the trenches and on the ground, that's where the game is won. Isaacson Truck Line is a proud supporter of the Southeast of Saline Trojans. For local and long-haul service of freight and livestock, call Isaacson Truck Line, reminding you to have a safe Friday night on the roads. Wreak havoc, Trojans.
Kurt here from Abilene Termite and Pest Control. We can't control pests like that unemployed 25-year-old living in your basement, but the creepy crawly ones are our specialty. From Salina to Manhattan, Clay Center to Hillsboro, and everywhere in between. We've been locally owned and here for you since 1951, offering great service, a firm handshake, and no long-term contracts. Visit AbileneTermite.com or find us on Facebook. I'm Kurt Phillips, and we'll keep the bugs out for you.
This is the Trojan Halftime Report. Coming up, a first half recap, stats, interviews, and a look at other area games. Let's head back to the stadium for Trojan Halftime on KINA.
Welcome back here to southeast of Saline, the campus of the Southeast of Saline School. Steve Fritz Field is where we are at. It's a 22-12 lead here at halftime for the Trojans. A big momentum play right before the half. Kenyon Douglas on a mishandled kickoff, 99 yards to the house, and put Southeast of Saline up by 10 after the 2-point conversion pass to Caden Berrigan. I have the honor of Roger Stump joining me here in the broadcast booth. And, boy, Roger, a lot of things on campus to talk about away from athletics, but I just want to talk about this game here tonight. I still get goosebumps when I come to campus and see the facilities that we are blessed with. And I was thinking back to last year and just the difference of it was a great run last year. Super exciting. How can you make it better? Well, you have it on campus of your own school. The electric in the air tonight, having everybody here, the great fans braving the weather. I don't know that it gets any better than this when it comes to football, does it?
It doesn't. And to be home, there's nothing better than to be home. And to be home for this long, to be able to host this many games one after another and do it here is just incredible. With the amount of rain we had, again, last year was great. Had a lot of fun. Very appreciative to Kansas Wesleyan for hosting us so many different times when we couldn't play at home due to weather conditions. I have a feeling tonight would have been one of those as well. You just can't replace the feeling of being able to be in your own backyard.
As it started raining last night and then on through to today, I just had that thought. I just said to myself, this is a game we would not have at home last year. We would be going back into Salina and playing on Kansas Wesleyan's field. Boy, it's a busy time right now on campus, isn't it? We have junior high sports getting ready to go. They're playing basketball. We have the varsity and JV high school kids getting ready for winter sports. We have, I think, a cheerleading competition coming up tomorrow. We have great twirlers and great dance team stuff here at halftime. It's a busy time right now, isn't it?
It's incredibly busy, and that is one of the nice things about Southeast is we've got something for everyone. If you want to be involved, you can be involved, and to the point that you were involved in so many things, you don't know if you're coming or going.
Yeah.
It really is. I've always said I truly enjoy the 3A size school. We are big enough to offer a lot of opportunities for kids and small enough that we know exactly who every kid is in our building. We don't lose any of them, lose track of them. They don't slip through the cracks here. We know your name.
My dad always told me growing up that if you keep busy like that, you don't know what it's like to get in trouble. So I think that's a good thing, right?
Yeah.
When we step away from athletics, of course, that's what we talk about all the time here on the radio, and that's what we like to have fun with. There's some other things going on, though, inside the walls of Southeast of Saline. I know, let's start out first with, I heard a ton of great things, including some busy football players that dedicated themselves to not only football, but also the play last week in Greece. That production, from what I heard and what I understood, I just heard so many great reviews about it. Tell me about that went on last week here on campus.
Again, just another packed week of activities. We had 2 showings of Grease, Thursday and Saturday, and just all of those kids that are in that musical are in other things. And you take this football team, for example, there was, 5 or 6, I didn't count, boys that were practicing after school every night, then after practice going over to the theater and doing another 2, 3, 4 hours worth of music production to make sure that they're ready for those 2 shows. And then, of course, there's just this game on Friday that you have to play,
right,
getting ready for Phillipsburg all week, and then you turn around, you have another production on Saturday. Amazing. I don't know when these kids had a chance to sleep.
Yeah, and that's the thing with musicals and plays and things like that. It is extra time, and some of those nights can get kind of grueling. You're also keeping up with homework and things like that. So for somebody to be able to manage their time like that's very, very important. Another thing I want to talk about, you had brought this up to me, and I want to learn more about it, is the Star Awards and the post-secondary success that you've had with those. Explain a little bit what that is and what it is to go achieve such an honor.
Well, the State Department of Education has made these metrics out there to kind of award schools that are doing things right, schools that are going above and beyond. So they came up with the Star Awards, they came up with a post-secondary success definition, and they are tracking these things. So what does it mean to be successful after high school? And you can debate what those meanings are, but this is how the state has defined it. You have to do one of these 3 things. You either earn an industry certificate, like a CNA or welding or something like that. You earn a 2-year degree after high school, or you have at least 2 years of college after high school. Now, you can debate whether or not that makes you successful. It's not meant to say that these kids are successful, but they're ready for success, that they've set themselves up for success. And we are just, because you have to wait 2 years to get these numbers, we're just getting the 2023 graduating class success rate. And for Southeast of Saline, we were at 78%. 78% of the class of 2023 met that criteria. Statewide, 55%. So, that's 23%, 23 points above the state average.
Yeah.
Just incredible.
Yeah.
And that leads us into the Star Awards. They've got a bunch of different categories, and if you make certain marks, you get bronze, silver, gold, all of those different things. Southeast of Saline was awarded 6 out of the 7 categories, awarded medals this past year.
Wow, that is great. Another thing I want to talk about, I saw Kristen Franklin was a big recipient of an award. Tell me about that.
Yes. She was awarded as Assistant Principal of the Year for our region. Went to a reception last month to honor her down in Wichita. Her picture's in the spotlight this last time. And it's just wonderful. She's doing such a great job, and really appreciate her. She taught for us for years. We moved her up to lead teacher and assistant principal. She's done great. I really do appreciate Mrs. Gorman for having nominated her and mentoring her as she transitioned into administration. She's doing great things for us, and we're proud of her. Very deserving of this award.
It seems almost impossible to think about this, but Thanksgiving is less than a week away. How does next week look here on campus? Everybody's going to get a holiday and have some family time. Hopefully there's a football game that we're talking about next week as well. So it's always an exciting time of year, and it moves so fast, doesn't it, once we get to this time of year?
Yeah, it does seem like if you blink, you miss it. And again, as busy as we are, you don't have time to stop and breathe sometimes. So we're going to take some days off next week. You know, we have school Monday, Tuesday, but we also have games Monday and Tuesday, and then we come back after that. You're already in December.
Yeah.
I mean, can you believe it? We're already in December. We are scheduled next week. We've got some nights where we've got junior high basketball and high school basketball on the same night already. I think it's December 2nd. I'm scheduled to drive the bus down to Lindsborg because we got teams going everywhere.
And some people may not know you do that. You're a bus driver too when needed, right?
I do it when needed. We're going to be sending buses all over the state, it seems like, and there's just not enough to go around sometimes.
A lot of conversation about just kind of the period of time between if you go play for a state championship in football. Last year for Southeast of Saline, there was a week. They finished football season on Friday in Hutchinson. They came back up the following Friday. That window's a lot tighter this year. If they go to Hutchinson next week, it will be on Saturday. The basketball season starts on Tuesday, the 2nd, as you said. You get your weekend to kind of regroup there, and I'm going to be bothering coaches and things like that on a quick turnaround because we got hoops to play on the 2nd of December at the high school level.
It's brutal.
Yeah.
It really is brutal. There's really no way to get around it. And, of course, it only really impacts two teams, the two teams that make it to the championship. But, boy, does it impact us. You don't get any of that practice time. And football condition is not the same as basketball condition. Football skill set is not the same as basketball skill set. These kids can't worry about whether or not their form is good or their shot is going. They've got more important things to consider for this week and hopefully next week. But that does make that first couple of games a little rough.
Really does. I enjoy our conversations at halftime. I'm glad we did this. Is there anything we're missing, anything we should stick in here other than go Trojans here in the second half?
Oh, I'm just so excited. That run back was incredible to be up at halftime and get the ball. I'm pumped, ready for a good second half.
All right. Thanks for your time. We'll talk to you soon. Roger Stump, he is the superintendent of schools here on campus at Southeast of Saline. We are at halftime, 22-12. Our score, Southeast of Saline with a 10-point lead. Looks like the players are starting to come out of the locker rooms. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll go over stats from the first half. Also, some score updates coming our way as well. Halftime here on KINA is brought to you by Knopf Auto and Truck Accessories.
Visit Suburban Appliance Center to see the Whirlpool washer with 2 ways to wash. This is the 2-in-1 removable agitator. This Whirlpool washer has flexible capacity. You can take the agitator out for bulky loads or keep it in for items of smaller loads. This opens up space in the wash tub and allows you to wash bulky items like comforters with no problems. Shop at Suburban Appliance Center and get twice the washer you have at home. Suburban Appliance Center. Quality service with every purchase. Located on South 9th next to Genesis Health Clubs.
1, 2, 3, 5.
It's third down and 8 for the Trojans. They really need to make the right call here.
During the football game, it's crucial to make the right call. And in real estate, one call can bring a positive outcome from your real estate experience. Whether you're looking for real property, upsizing to make room for the family, downsizing, or acquiring investment property, call Winnell Garrettson at SalinaHomes.com.
What a call! Touchdown, Trojans!
Buy or sell, call Winnell.
Thanksgiving is here, and West Country Mart in Abilene is eager to help you with your holiday meal and party prep. From appetizer and snack trays to the entire meal, they have a wide selection of holiday items that are sure to make you the host with the most. West Country Mart is also stocked up and ready to serve you with a full-service butcher in the meat department with holiday hams, rib roast, turkey, and more. West Country Mart in Abilene, open on Thanksgiving Day from 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. They are your little holiday secrets.
Hurry! He's coming! He just got Sally! Get the keys so we can unlock the door!
Oh, settle down. These guys never run. And our getaway car is already running since I have a remote start from New Image Audio.
Oh! How did you do that so far away?
Easy. I just used my phone. It has nationwide range, and I knew exactly where the car was because it gave me the location.
Wow! When we get to safety, I'm calling New Image.
Be safe and comfortable this spooky season with a remote start from New Image Audio, 340 South Broadway in Salina, or call 785-309-1617.
You're listening to Trojan Football.
Welcome back here at halftime. Tyler Smith has made his way back into safe haven here in the broadcast booth, brought to you by Bennington State Bank. I want to thank Bennington State Bank. Of course, they love community and they love promoting community, and they are on board tonight for this playoff game. Also, the playoff game that Salina Central and Great Bend taking part in right now in Class 5A. And when we take a look at that game at halftime, Salina Central leading Great Bend 16-6. Not a lot of people, Tyler, gave the Mustangs a chance in that game, but right now they lead it by 10 at the break.
I'll tell you what, that offensive line and Cooper Reeves running behind them and having a quarterback like Hall and Sambo and Hall. Sambo does a great job with his quarterbacks. It doesn't matter who's there. He just has a great relationship with those guys. They're going to be a flippin' tough out. They play hard, they play fast, they play tough. And again, utilizing that offensive line, you have Caden Snyder on his way to KU. There's multiple offensive linemen that have other looks, and young offensive linemen that are going to blow up, as they get older. It's the type of team with Cooper Reeves running behind him. I mean, we saw what he did last week against Salina South. I mean, that kid's the real deal. That's a kid. I know he's a big-time wrestler. He's probably going to wrestle at the next level, but if he wanted to play football, he could also do that. They're dangerous this time of the year.
In six-man action, Cunningham is leading Teskett 32-0 at halftime. Here's an update for you in Class 2A. On the other side of the bracket in the East, Nemaha Central had a 15-0 lead over Osage City midway through the second. When they hit halftime, Osage City had 13 unanswered points, 15-13. Nemaha Central leads that one by 2 at the break. Also, let's go back to 6A, Olathe Northwest, 28, Gardner Edgerton 21 at half. Also, Manhattan leading Derby 21-7 as the Indians flexing their muscle a bit. 5A, St. James Academy 14, Baser Linwood 0. Also, Central and Great Bend 16-6 Mustangs. In 4A, Bishop Miege leading Lebec County 21-7. Cape of Mount Carmel leading Wamego 42-0 at halftime. In 3A, Hayden leading Santa Fe Trail 29-0. Andale leading Rock Creek 41-7. That just tells you how good that Andale squad is again this year. Rock Creek is a very good football team. In 1A, Jackson Heights, the Cobras leading Rossville right now 18-14. And Sterling, the Black Bears, leading Smith Center early third quarter 14-0. Those are two undefeated teams going at it there. Here it is 22-12, Southeast of Saline. Southeast, not their usual offensive explosion that we see from them in the first half. Just 123 yards overall, 53 yards rushing, 70 yards passing. When you look on the other side at Hoisington, they have 203 yards here at the break, 148 yards on the ground, 55 in the air. Mason Martin was 5 of 7 passing the football, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Southeast of Saline's Tiernan Potachik, 4 of 6 passing the football. He had 70 yards, 1 touchdown to Malachi Hopkins, and no interceptions. We've had a turnover so far. That was on a punt that Southeast of Saline had on their opening drive, went off a Hoisington foot, and then 2 plays later, Grady Gebhardt was able to run it in from 17 yards away. Grady has 9 carries, 42 yards in that touchdown here at halftime. Again, I said Malachi Hopkins has the other touchdown. Getting ready to start second half, Tyler Smith, your new image audio, keys to success for Southeast of Saline.
You can continue to play Trojan football, right? You maintain that you're controlling the pace, whether you want to go fast or slow offensively and defensively. You just make it a struggle. You have to make sure time is taken off the field if Hoisington's going to do anything offensively.
Ready to kick it away to start second half. Mason Martin will put it in the air. It's an end-over-end kick, bouncing at the 20. Malachi Hopkins mishandles it. He's going to have to pick it up. Now he slips through a tackle, and he is hammered, leveled down at the 27-yard line. Also a score in 8-man I should touch on. 8-man Division I. It's 2 kind of local-ish schools going at it in Lincoln County. Lincoln leading Sylvan Lucas in the second quarter, 26-14. Southeast of Saline will start out here with a 10-point lead. They have the football starting out at their own 27-yard line. Glad you could join us for Southeast of Saline Trojan football. I know the weather isn't ideal. We love everybody here in front of us that's braving the weather, but if you're in your garage, your shop, your basement, your house, having a little watch party, we'd love to have you along. Thank you for joining us here on Salina Post Video and also on radio on KINA. First carry to Canyon Douglas. Little end-around sweep that time. First time we've seen that tonight for Canyon Douglas, and it goes for a yard.
Yeah, that jet sweep action right there. We've seen that play used a lot by Southeast to get that motion. That motion will also do a lot just to open up, try to get that outside linebacker and get that defensive end to follow that flow, and then you start sliding the ball to Gebhardt inside. I can tell you're doing a little, thumb sucking, putting it out of the window to see what the weather's like. It looks like
dry.
Stopped. Yeah.
Thumb came back in dry. Here is Tiernan Potachik rolling out, looking at different levels of receivers down the field. Now he's going to let it go. Caden Berrigan in the breadbasket at the 45-50. Across midfield, he fumbles the football, hit from behind. Hoisington's going to have it. A momentum play there for the Cardinals as Caden Berrigan stripped from behind. The ball comes out, and Hoisington has it.
Morales, Taylor Morales, great job. Got beat on that play. He had good coverage. It was just kind of a backyard, broken play right there. You saw KB did a good job. He comes to, the far side, makes a good catch, but it was Morales who didn't give up. He misses on the ball, follows, continues to go. That's a play that Hoisington needed to get in this game. We often talk about the broken down plays. We talked about so many times tonight already how Southeast has been successful. That's a broken down play. Those things you can't really practice. That's a huge play for Hoisington.
Talk about snatching the momentum right back on your side. That's what Hoisington has done here. First down now at their own 30-yard line. Morales tries the left-hand side. He is cut down and buried immediately over there by Caden Berrigan and Drew Weller in on that play.
Yeah, and again, you just saw right there, Morales is the fullback. It's just a give right there. It's, again, tough to see here. We can't really analyze what the offensive line is doing from this far up. But, again, I'm assuming it's not just bread and butter, go block the guy in front of you. There's a lot of movement from this big and athletic offensive lineman from Hoisington at all times. That's what makes that play. It's either a hit or miss sometimes.
No gain on the play. Second down and 10. Still at the 30-yard line. One receiver split to the left. Kossel goes in motion to that left-hand side. They go back to Morales. He gets about 5 yards just past the 30-yard line before he is stacked up by Bryson Lippold and company.
Yeah, it's those linebackers doing a good job there. Even though they're getting touched, it's the defensive line that's holding up those offensive linemen. We talk about when the offensive linemen get to that second level and get their hands on backers, that's when this offense really explodes. If the defensive line can continue to maintain contact, make that drive tough for the offensive lineman to push through, it leaves your linebackers free to make tackles, which leads you to a big 3rd and 4 right here.
That was Brody Fonensteel on that carry, by the way. He is lined up as a tight end now on the left-hand side of that offensive line. 3rd down and 4. They're going to run the stretch play, option to the right. Martin has it, comes across the 40 to the 44, and a first down here for Hoisington on offense.
Yeah,
out to the 44-yard line.
And look at the ball squirted loose right there. Officials immediately said he was down right there. Good. Officials have been on every single call tonight, immediately pointing down. Ball stays with Hoisington. But again, even though it's dry for us in here, and even though it's drier without the precipitation coming down, it's still a wet field. You're still playing with wet footballs.
Yeah, that turf will retain some moisture, so you just going to have to deal with damp all night long. I'm sure these guys might have got to change maybe their underlayers at halftime, but most of them are just kind of going with it right now. The damage has been done, so to speak. They're going to try to run it right up the middle with Hoisington, and that one will be short-lived on the run. Tristan Swank, Grady Gebhardt high and low that time for Southeast on the tackle.
Yeah, and whenever your nose tackle can make a play like that, again, we talked about his job is to make sure that if you can take care of the center and make sure he can't get to the next level right there, not only did Swank make sure center and guard couldn't get to the next level, he then made the tackle on the ball carrier. Anytime you can do all three of those things, that's how you stop an offense as powerful as Hoisington's.
Nose of the football at the 45-yard line, 2nd down and 8 for the Cardinals. Just underway here, second half. Southeast of Saline turned it over as a big pass play and then a fumble. Here's Brody Chambers now as he gets into the hole and he meets up with the Hoisington ball carrier. That's going to be Taylor Morales, and didn't look like Morales really wanted to get up after that. A loss on the play.
And can you blame the guy? If Chambers takes me to bed, I'm probably not getting up either. Right there, just a huge play. Again, the interior. And we talk about this, like, this is what's difficult with that pace and tempo that Southeast establishes offensively. You're wearing guys down. A lot of these guys are going two ways from Hoisington. This offense is wearing them down on the defensive side.
Fawn and Steele split out to the sideline on the right-hand side. Morales now will go left hip of quarterback Mason Martin. Martin wants to stretch it to the left, pitches out to Morales. He's looking for space, close to a first down. I think he'll be short by about half a yard. Boy, he runs hard, and he put his shoulder pads down, waist level that time, and was able to knock off about 9 yards and make it a 4th down and 1. Another big play in this game.
And we've seen Hoisington have more success in the perimeter than they have up the gut. You know, anytime you can kind of stretch it. However, you have success on those 1st and 2nd downs when you're not always expecting the ball to the outside. Here's the time where you're going to kind of expect it. Expect good leverage from the outside linebackers from Southeast. This play says a lot about tonight.
It's a full yard, 4th down and a yard. Kossel goes in motion, starts out left, now comes back, sets up on the right. directly behind the line of scrimmage. Now he goes in motion again. They're going to hand it off. Morales right at the line of scrimmage. He is hit, and he falls ahead. It gets 2 on the play. Move the chains. It's a Cardinal first down.
What a run by Morales. I think we saw that initial surge, and we saw multiple defensive linemen just shoot through, but it was Morales that just stayed. The lower guy wins. If you watch football on Saturdays and Sundays, you hear that all the time, but Morales just stayed lower. Good pad level, strong run from the fullback, Taylor Morales.
Notice line of scrimmage now at the 46-yard line. 6:56 left to go here in the third quarter. Glad you could join us. Trojan football tonight, presented here in the third quarter by Lily Pad Septic Service and Portable Restrooms. Martin by himself, empty backfield, and he's going to pay for it. Just not a lot of deception on that. It was quarterback power run, and Killian Vaughn in there with the first hit for Southeast.
And here's where this offense struggles, right? We've seen big pass games that Hoisington's had, and they're throwing the ball to Fonestille. They have options, but anytime they go and they spread out, you kind of know where the ball is. So you see Southeast, backing off. This is an offense that struggles when they're behind because they move the ball with slow running game. They'll try to break one, but if you're pounding only 11 guys in the middle, it's going to be tough for this Hoisington team to score, as we now see them go quads to the left.
2nd down and 9 from the 45. Screenplay out that way. They're trying to double pass it down the field. It's a wobbly duck that's up for grabs, and it's knocked down by Malachi Hopkins. Hopkins came over that time, probably didn't have a chance to get the interception, but he did the next best thing, and that was knock it down.
How many times do you think Potacek has seen that on film? Like, it was Potacek as the safety that immediately saw kind of an awkward pass. He hasn't seen, again, I don't know what he's seeing on film, but you see an awkward pass. If anything looks funky, you kind of feel something funky. You saw Potacek immediately just backpedal back. He kind of plays center field. He didn't have a good spot. He was just kind of looking at Fonestille's eyes, puts his hands up, and you see Hopkins come over and knock the ball down.
And it's good when your safety is playing safely.
Yeah, exactly.
3rd down and 9 now for Hoisington from the southeast of Saline 45-yard line. Back to pass, Martin again, looking down the right-hand side. Fonensteel is over there. It's a ball, it's up for grabs, and it is incomplete over the head of the intended receiver, incomplete. Hoisington started out in this game, Tyler, 5 of 5 in the passing game. They are now 5 of 9, missing their last 4 throws.
And Devin, I hate to say this, but it looks like the wear and tear is starting to wear. Like, we talk about Fonensteel and what he can do on both sides of the football. He looked gassed right there. It looks like Hopkins found the football. He got himself back. He knew where it was going, but when you're playing every single play, it's really, really tough for you to do.
And he is walking off the field right now. Probably a punting situation, I'm guessing, as we'll probably see Mason Martin, who is also the quarterback and the punter, kind of go back in that short drop situation. A Marion Hollable retreat here for southeast of Saline. Movement up front. I think Hoisington's going to take a 5-yarder again. Boy, Hoisington is just trying to get Southeast to bite on a 5-yarder, but they bit themselves. That's the second time we've seen that.
Second time. And let's talk about the first one. The first one was kind of one of those, maybe a fake was in order. Like, we don't know. I mean, it was a 4th and, 5-ish, 4th and 3, 4th less than 5, where you could potentially fake it at midfield. This is one of the situations as well. You don't know kind of what they're going to do. A lot of times that's when you see the eagerness of these receivers and these guys that don't know what's going on. Just kind of jump. They get too excited. Again, those are penalties you just can't have if you're Hoisington.
4th and 14 now at the 50-yard line is the line of scrimmage. Martin will put his foot into it. It's a low line drive wobbler that'll take a bounce, and southeast of Salina will watch it die there. It takes a good Cardinal bounce inside the 15 down to the 14, where it is stopped and down to there by Caleb Lamb. So southeast of Saline, big pass play down the field. Berrigan hit from behind, drop the football. The defense comes out. They bail them out. They raise up. They get a stop. Now back onto the field, though they have their work cut out for them now, starting this drive at their own 14-yard line.
Yeah, the philosophy of this drive should be get the ball to your best player. I would assume we see a lot of number 30 right here in this drive. It doesn't matter if it's 1st and 10, 2nd, whatever, 3rd and long. Get the ball in Grady Gephardt's hands and see what he can do.
Grady just 9 carries so far, 42 yards and a touchdown. He had the first score of the game. Starting out their own 14-yard line. Potacek wants to roll out to the left, looking downfield. Throw back here to Gephardt, and it's incomplete and goes out of bounds. He threw it at Gephardt's feet. I'm not sure that was a great play call anyway, just because That would have been about 7 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and boy, the Cardinals were all over it.
They were. They had that, snuffed
Which
out.
may be why Tiernan grounded it.
Exactly. I mean, I think a lot of times Tiernan just, his head is working way faster than ours up here.
That's not hard to do.
No, not at all, especially when you have 11 guys coming at you. But regardless, 2nd and 10 as opposed to 2nd and long.
3 wide receivers to the left-hand side. Gebhardt still in the backfield. Lippold directly behind Garrett Kuhn at the left tackle spot. Potacek takes the snap, gets it in the belly of Gebhardt. Look out, here comes Grady. 25, 30, rolls over the last man to get him and has a Southeast of Saline first down. That's really the first time tonight we've seen Gebhardt be able to explode.
Okay, so what happened right there is you saw the check with me, and you saw the middle linebacker, you saw the Will linebacker for Hoisington, and he comes across on the outside. He's outside of Pafana still right there, and I think they did a check with me, and they just saw that he's coming. That blitz was shown too early, and Hoisington never disguised anything else. They just stayed in that spot. You just run right through that gap right there, and anytime you see, Gebhardt get his legs loose, get out and go, again, he exploded through that hole. It's the first time we've seen it tonight.
Longest run of the night. Remember, he had a 17-yard touchdown. That went for 18. Here's Gebhardt again. Grady trying to break free, and he's going to barrel his way out, just banging around like a pinball inside, out to the 39-yard line on a gain of 7.
And it's runs like that are extremely valuable as you just see that clock continue to tick. As we see Gebhardt still down in the field, getting back up, probably just taking, relaxing, understand what's going on. Game clock continues to run, play clock continues to run. That's what you need with a 10-point lead against an offense that struggles for the tonight. We've struggled to see them just score on big plays.
Southeast back to the line of scrimmage. Pitch out, left-hand side, Gebhardt. Couple cards chasing. Grady gets a block out here on the outside. He's going to have the first down and then plunges out of bounds near midfield. Lippold, Berrigan, and Holub all out here blocking. They also had Swank out on the edge, throwing a good block for the Trojans.
And it's all about setting that edge so you can get Gebhardt around you. It's Lippold that did a great job getting outside, just getting that backside turn towards us, which means he has leverage. He can push the defender inside. Gebhardt slides off of that. We haven't said Lippold's name on a reception yet. He only scores big-time touchdowns. Wait for something at some point in this game. I'm assuming they're going to find a way to get him involved, but that's a great job from him blocking.
Out to the 49, they'll switch the trips now to the right-hand side of the field, the long side of the field. Handoff again to Gebhardt. Little tap of the break as they had a Cardinal in the backfield ready to wreck things right away. As coming in there from that nose tackle spot, we've talked about him time and time again, is Colin Motter. It's Motter in the middle, along with his running mate, Brody Corbett, kind of in there as well. And those two are with Leighton Hoffman. Boy, they are a formidable force for the Cardinal D-line.
Yeah, these are first guys off the bus type guys. I mean, tell you what, if they walk off the bus first, you look at them and you're like, all right. I mean, this whole team is just stacked with absolute dudes. This is a tough game, tough in the trenches right now.
2nd and 8 after that 2-yard gain. They go back to Gebhardt. He will go back into the jaws of that defensive line and get one on the play. With the tackle that time was Leighton Hoffman. Probably offended I didn't mention him first of that D-line list that I just had. He is a stud.
But again, as we talk about the rotations that Southeast does offensively and defensively with their line, you're trying to keep these guys as fresh as you can. Hoffman hasn't come off the field tonight. I mean, he's been going both ways, offensive line and defensive line. He's an absolute hammer, and he does so many things. But when you're going both ways, at some point you're going to get exhausted.
3rd and 7 from the Cardinal 47-yard line. 2 wide receivers to the right. Fake pitch out, Gebhardt. Potacek rolling out, looking downfield. He's going to flip his hips and throw, and it's a yard short of Amarion Holub, incomplete in the second half. Southeast of Saline, 1 of 3 throwing the football, and that'll stop the clock with 3:03 left to go here in the third quarter, and a 4th down coming up for Southeast of Saline. What do the Trojans do here?
Yeah, well, definitely a miss right there from Potacek. You said he flipped the hips. He had Holub open. Looks like they're going for it, and they're getting right up to the ball.
4th down and 7. Need to be to the 41 or better to keep this drive alive. Southeast has been really good at 4th down conversions over the last few weeks here in the playoffs. Gebhardt will switch to the left hip. He may be an extra protector. Now Potacek's going to take a step back. Quick kick perhaps. He gets some heat on him, but he's going to let it go. Let's see what this punt does. Takes a Southeast bounce. Caden Berrigan is down there to escort it down at the 10-yard line. Southeast of Saline just flipped the field as they took over on that drive at the 14. And that drive, along with the punt, now will put Hoisington back at their own 10.
And Devin, I think maybe we get jaded as Southeast fans, especially up here, that we just think touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. That's the only successful drive. Not so fast, my friend. And as Lee Corso would say, that's fantastic right there. You flip the field, a 10-point lead, second half of a state semifinal game. It's exactly what you need to do offensively.
And Patochik is the third person to punt, actually fourth this year for Southeast of Saline. Everybody kind of in a mason jar here in tight for Hoisington. They're going to throw it to the one wide receiver they had, and it's broken up. May have been caught, may have been dropped. I don't know. It was kind of in between there to C.J. Bryant, but a Southeast of Saline defender over there to help knock it away.
Yeah, it looks like it was Berrigan that just saw that running back motion come out. He all of a sudden knew his responsibility, kind of in that. I don't know if that was a cover two, kind of difficult to see from up here, but just understood his responsibility, understood staying behind the offensive receiver, making sure he's got eyes on the football. Great job tracking that football down, knocking it away.
2nd down and 10. Here for Hoisington now after that incomplete pass. They are back at their own 10-yard line. Here comes Bryant in motion. They're going to pitch out wide to him. He wants to cut it back in the middle. Has a tackle, though, from behind. Holding on and making the tackle for Southeast of Saline is Grady Gebhardt. Swank was coming as well, but, boy, Grady just got a hand on him and would not let go. Limits that run that had a lot of momentum coming out of the chute to just 3 yards.
You're exactly right. Gebhardt just holds on to the football and just – I don't want to say holds on for dear life. Like, he holds on to that football and just makes sure he rips the ball carrier down, and then all of a sudden you have the help from Swank, and then you had more hats coming that were wearing purple. The limits to that game that looked like it could have gone for a little bit more for Hoisington.
3rd down and 7 at the 13-yard line. Southeast dealing with one receiver right now. Bryant starts to go in motion. They hand it off inside to Morales, and he's taken down from behind. Drew Weller making his presence felt on that defensive line. And a 4th down coming up for Hoisington. It's 4th down and 2 as they bring it out to the 18-yard line.
Yeah, no hesitation from Hoisington. This looks like I don't want to say it's do or die time, but this is huge. I don't know if they want to. Gosh, it looks like they're getting in pump position.
1:37 left to go in the third quarter. This game is flying by. Martin back in punt formation, takes a snap off the turf, and this is going to be a low-line drive, and it's going to take a big Southeast of Saline roll, and a penalty flag here will go against Hoisington. I'm assuming this is going to go against Brody Fonensteel, who threw Malachi Hopkins down in the middle of the field.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Fonensteel, like, every eye is right there. It's right there in the middle of the field. Looks like a personal foul. A lot of things going on right there. That's huge for Southeast.
Coach Gebhardt has his head set off about 5 yards out onto the field with an inquisitive posture. Got the play chart tucked in the pants. Football right now sitting at Southeast of Saline's 39-yard line. Brody Chambers was trying to eavesdrop on this situation. Killian Vaughn tells him to join the huddle and come back here with the offense.
That's what you love about Brody. He likes to know what's going on. He's just trying to, make sure that he can relay the information to his offensive line, to his team, and to understand everything that's going on.
If you remember Brody's older brother, Mac, he is wrestling in the college level right now, doing very, very well. Spent a couple of years at Cloud County and then ended up going on. And, boy, I love to watch the results of him online. He's doing very well for himself. And, boy, how was he a linebacker, huh?
Yeah, I mean, the Chambers are just nasty, right?
Think about Mac's senior year when Brody was coming on as a freshman. We got to kind of feature both of them on the field at the same time.
Can you imagine what they're like at home? I mean, Thanksgiving, that meal, you can't just get one turkey for that meal. I mean,
it's a good thing their mom's a cook.
Yeah, that's super helpful. Hopefully they don't have to watch weight during Thanksgiving time.
Boy, Mr. Stumpf and I talking at halftime how quickly we have gotten here. Thanksgiving less than a week away. Coach Gebhardt has had his consultation with the officials, and they will now go over to Zach Baird, again a Harrington native. He was a railer just down Highway 4. He has really done a great job with this Hoisington team. They are a power in and out. And they're going to take this backwards against Southeast of Saline. So I apologize for assuming that this was against Hoisington. Now they're going to say it's against Hoisington. Offsetting. So I guess I need to understand why this is yardage against Southeast of Saline, but it was offsetting.
So regardless, next play.
Yeah.
I mean,
and that's, you can tell that's Coach Gebhardt's posture right now. And players, Southeast players wearing purple, they're clapping their hands. They're like, yeah, let's go. Whatever you got, let's go. So Southeast will start out here at their own 24-yard line. And now we have a stoppage in play. The official here, Whitehat, was not in position. So we need to let him get where he needs to go. Southeast will take over with 1:21 left to go here in the third. Lyric Lilly in the game. He's a motion man. He'll slide to the right, pitch out to that side. Grady Gebhardt. Grady plants the foot, cuts back up in, and he runs into 2 Cardinals at the 25-yard line. An advancement of just 1 on the play that time for Grady Gebhardt, who ran into a flock of Cardinals.
And Devin, you're seeing a lot of tackles from the perimeter defenders from Hoisington, but it's the defensive line from Hoisington that's creating those. Normally we see Southeast offensive linemen get their block, get their fit, and drive. Right now, they're not getting that, so it means those perimeter players from Southeast then have to peel off, come and get these linemen, which is clearing up space for the Hoisington outside linebackers and defensive backs.
Southeast ready to go here, second down. Little quick outplay here to Adam Teal. That ball knocked away. What a play. That was for Hoisington. Carson Mason selling out on it.
Yeah, Mason, if he does not make a play on the ball right there, Teal's taking that thing, and there's nobody between him and 60 yards of green turf. But right there, Mason sells out, gets a hand on the football, brings up a big third down for Southeast of Saline.
Football at the 26-yard line. Third down and 8 for Southeast of Saline. 35.9 seconds left here in the third. They're going to have 3 wide receivers out to the left-hand side. Berrigan by himself to the right. Potacik looks to the left of the formation, now asks for the snap. He'll roll that way. Looking downfield, chased by a Cardinal. He'll rise up, throw. Lyric Lilly had it and dropped it at the 35. Would have been a first down for Southeast of Saline. That was a tough catch to make, though. The ball just slightly behind Lyric Lilly, and it falls incomplete. 4th down and 8 coming up.
Oh, what a throw from Potacik. It kind of throws it where it needed to be thrown. If he throws that ball at Lilly, it's going to get picked. There's defenders there. Kind of throws a little bit behind in that window. But it's what Pafana still did as a defensive end on our side. You saw him, he takes the outside tackle, grabs and pulls. I mean, if you're watching this in NFL, it's probably a defensive holding. Definitely not a defensive holding. I'm not saying that in high school football. Just a great play from Pafana still to get pressure on Tiernan Potacik.
Adam Teal standing at his own 11. Now will kick it away. Puts his foot into it, angling to the left. Bouncing at the 49 across the 50. Takes a Southeast bounce. Hoisington will pick it up. And now the return to the 50 down the sideline, but shoved out of bounds over here by Southeast of Saline's Elijah Kerr. Boy, that could have been big for Hoisington. He still bought about 15 yards on that bounce.
Yeah, I like that from Carson Mason. He had nowhere to go other than get to the outside. He should not have been able to get to the outside. I saw Coach Potacik immediately just say, you got to get to the outside. You got to maintain your leverage and your lanes and your integrity. Southeast didn't do it right there, and a big pickup. 15 yards on that return at least for Carson Mason, the senior from Hoisington.
So Hoisington back out with their offense at the Southeast of Saline 44-yard line. Good field position here for the Cardinals, as both of these offenses really haven't done much here in the second half. Here's a pass down the left-hand sideline. Kenyon Douglas in coverage that time of Carson Mason, and that ball incomplete. 2nd down and 10 coming up.
Yeah, and here's where things do get tricky for Hoisington. We know that they can spread you out, but if that's going to be their, number one point of attack instead of running that flex bone, it's going to be difficult because they just don't have the time and the reps that other teams do that spread you out. I mean, all of a sudden it's a little bit awkward for them. It's a little bit foreign for them to run this type of offense. They're not used to playing from behind, but this is what they have to do to stay in this football game, down 10 with 11 seconds left in the third quarter.
At the 44, 2nd down and 10. One wide receiver to the right. Fahnensteel in tight, but standing up as a receiver to the right. Here's a pitch out to Morales. He's down the right-hand sideline, has some space, now wants to cut it back inside. Amarion Hollop spins him around, still on his feet, and finally down at the 12-yard line. A gain of 32 that time. Actually, they're going to say at the 17-yard line. That's my mistake. There's a Trojan down on the play. Looks like Killian Vaughn. He didn't stay down long as he gets up, and he's going to go back out onto the field. 18-yard line is the line of scrimmage now.
Yeah, and right there, I think it looks like now they're going to say it's the last play of the third quarter, so turn it over to you.
26 yards by Hoisington, and maybe a little bit of a momentum catcher there for the Cardinals. No points in the third. Fourth quarter coming up. That was a third quarter that was scoreless. Brought to you by Lily Pad Septic Service and Portable Restrooms. 22-12. Southeast of Saline leads it by 10 on KINA.
Whether on the field, court, or in the operating room, experience matters. A coach loves an experienced team just like a patient values an experienced doctor. Salina Ortho has ABOS board-certified physicians with over 40 years of orthopedic service. If you need help staying active or just want to discuss options regarding the newest techniques and services and specialties that Salina Ortho provides, see one of our trusted physicians or visit salinaortho.com. Salina Ortho, your voice, your choice, past, present, and future.
Come home for the holidays at Aeroplanes Townhomes in Salina. Brand new 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom homes with over 1,500 square feet for only $229,000. Storm shelter, 2-car garage, solid surface countertops included. Sod, landscape, and sprinklers already installed. Plus $5,000 holiday cash on the last 5 homes in Phase 1. Take $5,000 cash or get a $5,000 credit for closing cost. You choose. Buy now and be in your new home in time for the holidays. Learn more at aeroplanesks.com.
You are listening to Southeast Trojan Football.
Back here at Steve Fritz Field, put 4 fingers in the air, fourth quarter, ready to uncork here. Hoisington, they trail Southeast of Saline by 10, but they are knocking on the door. First down and 10 at the 18-yard line. Cardinals in the red zone. Tight formation here. Bryant will go in motion. Quarterback keeper, as they come through, Mason Martin will keep it on this play, and he will get about half the yardage, about 5 yards on 1st and 10.
And if you're Hoisington and Coach Baird right now, the clock is not a factor. You know, you're down 2 possessions. It's no big deal. You look to score here. You're inside the red zone. Everything's fine. You're looking for a defensive stop after this regardless. You just continue to go with what you do. You're going to see a lot of flex bone here inside the red zone from Hoisington.
A Great Bend Central game getting tight. Hoisington handing off to Morales, a big train wreck in the middle of the field, and that pile still going. Pile still moving, and all the way to the 5-yard line. 5-yard line, a first down, as the officials are actually going to get that ball out of the pile and spot it back at the 6.
That's just one of those tough plays right now. Like, where does the forward progress stop? I think the officials did a good job right there. But, you know, these days, it used to be 10, 15 years ago. We sound like old hats right now. We're saying back in the old days, you couldn't do that. But these days, they just let you go until that forward progress is completely stopped.
First down and goal from the 7. Back to Morales. Tiernan Potacek and Brody Chambers teaming up to hold him to 2 yards.
Yeah, and you love to see that. Just a read from Potacek. He's just flying downhill right there. He wraps up. He takes care of downstairs and makes sure the big guys up front for Southeast Saline take care of the rest.
Morales over 100 yards unofficially. Great Bend and Central, 23-21. Salina Central, they had ran a fake field goal for a touchdown, widened the lead, but then Great Bend came back and scored, and now it's a 2-point lead for Central late in the third quarter. Here, Southeast of Saline leads by 10. Hoisington has the football at the 5-yard line. Second down and goal. Everybody down in their crouches. Now Bryant will lead. They'll pitch out wide to Bryant, wanting the right-hand side, and there are Trojans all over the place, led by Canyon Douglas. He had Drew Weller in his sidecar and Tiernan Potacek out in front, and there was nothing but purple rain over there on that side.
Yeah, it's the pursuit from Douglas. Again, it's Douglas and Lippold. We haven't said Lippold's name much, tonight defensively, but they're setting edges, and it's right there. It's Douglas just has that edge set, and he makes sure he's the first person to the ball carrier. And huge when the first person to the ball carrier is able to either make the tackle or hold him up, and that's exactly what Canyon Douglas did right there.
A loss of 5 on the play by that Trojan defense. Third down and 10. You would like to think Hoisington has 2 downs here. They get it in the end zone. 2 backs in the backfield. One of them will leave. Martin wants to throw. Goes to the left-hand side. Has a receiver, but immediately a hit over here by Caden Berrigan. Making the catch was Carson Mason, but he turned and was met by Berrigan at the 5-yard line. It's 4th down.
Yeah, it seemed like a little pocket route concept, meaning you have your inside receivers running a vertical. Sorry, your outside receivers going vertical, your inside receivers running an out right there, and Berrigan read that to a T, comes up and makes a huge tackle to keep Hoisington out of the end zone.
4th and goal from the 5. Hoisington has gone for it multiple times on 4th down tonight. No wide receivers. Now Bryant will split out wide to the right. Martin rolling that way. Being chased. He's going to put it in the back of the end zone. It's going to be caught and dropped. Hoisington turns it over on downs. Southeast of Saline's defense again holding on the play, and the Trojan offense will come back out onto the field.
When you saw on the other side, they had Pifana still all by himself. All of a sudden, that motion created a little bit of confusion for the Southeast defense, but it's the backside. As soon as you saw that Martin couldn't find one of those first two receivers, and he's coming to the backside, it's all down to Berrigan, and Berrigan just had enough of a beat that he stayed and made that a tough reception opportunity for Hoisington. Whew.
8:44 left to go. What a play. It would have been a tough catch at the back of the end zone. And Hoisington's going to turn it over to Southeast at the 5-yard line. Here's Grady Gebhardt, second level, look out, 15-25. Try to get caught from behind, and he will. The last person to have a chance to get Grady Gebhardt made the tackle. It's Coulter Hahn, and Gebhardt all the way out past the 30 to the 31-yard line. It's a gain of 26 yards.
Devin, it's the freshness of this offensive line. It's Garrett Kuhn who's out in front, getting in the way, making blocks, creating the opportunity for Grady Gebhardt. But again, you're seeing this rotation. You're seeing multiple offensive linemen out there that we haven't seen a lot of tonight play offensively or defensively. We get these fresh legs, these fresh bodies, these huge bodies. That's that play. We talked about getting out of the shadows of your goalpost. That is huge right there for Southeast.
Sprinting back to the line of scrimmage after the huddle. First down and 10 now for Southeast of Saline at their own 31-yard line. Snap to the outside. Inside handoff to Gebhardt. Snap maybe have untimed that play just a little bit, and Grady's going to make it back to the line of scrimmage, and Taylor Morales reaches down and helps him up, and a little conversation there between those two.
And I've seen this multiple times tonight. Again, these are two teams that they want to go at each other. I'm seeing multiple players help each other up. Again, talking about the sportsmanship side, that's just ultimate respect in two great teams. You can just tell their culture from Hoisington and from Southeast. They understand the game, but they understand they're taking care of each other.
This is the 5th consecutive time that they have met deep in the playoffs. Deep in the playoffs. There is some respect here, you bet. Second down and 10. Again, a high snap. Potacek has to bring it in. Gets it to Gebhardt. He gets away from two Cardinals. Still running as he breaks tackles down the near sideline, trying to keep it in bounds, and now he's going to be hit out of bounds as Grady Gebhardt brings it across the 50 to the 49. It's a gain of 20 by Grady Gebhardt.
What did Grady Gebhardt not do on that play? I mean, we saw the explosion. We saw him put on the brakes. We saw him go again. We saw a cut. We saw him setting up blocks. We saw him try to stay in bounds. Grady Gebhardt does a good job. Snap a little bit off. Like you said, kind of the timing wasn't completely there for him to explode. But, boy, how did he set everything up. Whew. It's a great play from Grady Gebhardt and the rest of the Southeast of Saline offense.
Southeast of Saline now starting to look at the scoreboard maybe a little bit, approaching the 7-minute mark. First down and 10 at the Hoisington 49-yard line. Two wide receivers split wide to the left, and now we have a stoppage in play here as we'll see what the official on the near side comes in. Brad Bingston, our white hat tonight, doing a great job. We've seen him a couple of times this year.
Just to correct you quickly, I believe that's Brian.
Brian, sorry.
Yeah,
thank you.
They're twins.
Thank you for sticking up for me.
Gotcha.
Correcting me and sticking up for me at the same time. That's beautiful. 7:20 on the clock. 7:20 on the clock. Tyler, Mitch Gebhardt yelled up at us and wanted to take care of it. So 7:20 on the clock. They've already got it made. That's teamwork right there. That is. I don't want to be yelled at like that again. That was.
But see how efficient we did it.
Well, hey,
Gebhardt's not lying. He'll rely on anybody.
Our window's open.
Yes.
Yeah, we will take those calls. So 7:20 now. Zach Baird out. He's talking to the official about something. Coach Gebhardt is still on the field. Now Zach Baird has finished his conversation with the official. We talked about Zach earlier and the great job he's done. He has 12 seasons at Hoisington. All of them have been winning seasons, by the way. He has a record at Hoisington of 115 wins and 24 losses. These two coaches and their coaching staffs as good as it gets. First down and 10, southeast of Saline. Fake pitch out, Gebhardt left-hand side. Potacek will keep it on the run for the first time, and he will get 2 yards on the play as he goes to the 47-yard line.
And you just see ball security. I mean, as soon as that fake toss was there, Potacek had 2 hands on the ball. You're not going to see him have 1 hand on the ball unless he gets in the open field. He's going to every blow that he takes will have 2 hands on the ball. And here's where the tempo is interesting. They're going to come to the line. It'll be a check with me. There's no way they're going to snap this ball with 20 seconds left on the game clock.
2nd down and 8. A couple Hoisington players jumping. Nothing coming across the line of scrimmage, though. Potacek looking left, 2 wide receivers. Berrigan a single to the right. They'll take the snap, quick out, throw to Berrigan. Caden at the 40, still has a Cardinal around his feet. He twists his way to for about 2 more yards, and valuable yards because I think Caden Berrigan just picked up the first down. That second effort might have got the first down. They're going to spot him, though. Well, I don't like that spot at all. Caden Berrigan, I thought, twisted his way around for a first down. We can't see where he stepped out of bounds, though. And it is a first down. They finally move the chains as they look across the field. Caden Berrigan on that little subtle move just got a first down.
And so, Devin, here's the confidence they're showing in Potacek. If you're going to play back as cornerbacks, you're just going to run that hitch and rely on your receivers to do it. But you have to have a quarterback that throws that ball right on the spot, just like Tiernan did right there.
Tiernan Potacek has 50 yards passing here in the second half, all of them to Caden Berrigan. Gebhardt just embarrasses a Cardinal in the hole. He met Faunensteel that time, and Gebhardt came out of it. Boy, what a big carry by Grady Gebhardt.
These guys read press clip. I mean, you just have to, right? They're on social media. They know who they're playing. They know what they're doing. One guy that just continues to churn and do things and keep his head down. I don't think he's a big press clippings guy, but it's Grady Gebhardt. And holy moly, he just continues to show what he can do, his explosiveness every Friday night.
We have headsets on, and the exterior noise that we hear is very rarely of pads popping. We did there.
Without a doubt. And we saw who ended up running forward after those pads popped.
8 yards brings up 2nd down and 2. Football at the 31. 5:51 left to go. And now another stoppage in play as southeast of Saline will take a timeout. We will step aside. We'll take it as well. Here's a 30-second timeout. Trojan football tonight is brought to you by Abilene Termite and Pest Control.
This is Jeff with Vanderbilt in Salina. If you need to stay warm, we have Field Shear heated gear. We have base layers, zip-up sweatshirts, light jackets, coats, and socks. Ladies, we also have vests and jackets for you. These items all come with a lithium rechargeable battery. They also have an on-off switch with low, medium, and high. Keep warm with Field Shear at Vanderbilt in Salina.
Work boots and Vanderbilt. You're listening to Southeast of Saline football on KINA.
Back here southeast of Saline in the Bennington State Bank broadcast booth. Tonight's coverage on KINA and also live stream video on SalinaPost.com, brought to you by Abilene Termite and Pest Control. Also Aeroplanes, the newest housing development in Salina. Phase 1, 5 homes left and good holiday discounts through the end of November. Cale Sharp, Shelter Insurance on Belmont in Salina. Also want to remind you, 0% interest right now for 60 months. That's right, 5 years. No interest on brand new F-150 trucks at Long MacArthur Ford. Over 100 trucks in stock with 0% interest through the end of the month. Contact Long MacArthur Ford. Heck, go there tomorrow. Get you a new F-150. 2nd down and 2 for southeast of Saline. They are at the Hoisington 31-yard line. Pistol formation, give to Gebhardt. Straight up the gut, has the first down and more as he's brought down at the 29-yard line. 24-yard line. A 7-yard gain by Grady Gebhardt on his 20th carry.
Devin, what that first down gives you now it turns into a math game, right? Like you want to continue to drain that clock. You have 40 seconds to get this next play off. You want to squeeze that to about 35. You don't want that ball snapped until it's, under 5 seconds. Continue to do that. Continue to feed the ball to 30. You start doing the math, and all of a sudden, for Hoisington to score twice, they're going to need some magic to happen. They're going to need a quick score, then something funky. But right now, you have the football. You're in control of the football game if you're Southeast.
From the 24, new set of downs, 1st down and 10. 5:21 left to go in this one. 3 wide receivers, left-hand side. Give is to Gebhardt. He's in the hole. He twists down. He might have gotten a yard on this play. They're going to give him 1 yard to the 23-yard line. Hoisington has 3 timeouts remaining, and they trail by 2 possessions, 22-12, and we're at the 5-minute mark here in the 4th quarter, brought to you by Assyria Oil and Hardware. Of course, the Blake family, boy, they've been some football Friday nights, right? For Southeast of Saline, want to thank them for helping bring you Southeast of Saline playoff football. A couple of Cardinals jumping again. Looked like they came off. Grady Gebhardt's trying to point them out. Officials don't care. 10 seconds left on the play clock. Tiernan Potacek looking to the sideline. Now he asks for the snap. It's going to be chest high, back to Gebhardt. Counterplay, left-hand side. Grady in traffic, spins it down again to the 16-yard line. Gain of 7 on the play for Grady Gebhardt in southeast of Saline. And not only Grady going to work here, Tyler, that offensive line going to work as well.
Without a doubt, but it's that pace and tempo, right? You get up to the ball. It allows the eye in the sky to kind of talk to the coaches down the field. They can figure out, where players are, if they see any blitzes shown. And we continue to see Hoisington still in that check with me, kind of show their hand. And anytime you show your hand, you see plays like that happen. It lets you kind of, finagle your offensive line, let you call a play where you're going to see a guard or a tackle pull, get in the spots you need to get in and find Gebhardt some open space.
Clock under 4 minutes, 3rd down and 3 for southeast of Saline at the Hoisington 17. Pitch out left-hand side, Gebhardt trying to follow Lippold. He gets a crease, and he gets hammered just outside of the 10-yard line. Should have enough for the first down, though, at the 12, and they're going to say move the chains. Boy, Lippold picked up a block, but there was another Cardinal over there that was unattended, and Grady was able just to turn his body enough, Tyler, and get that first down.
Well, I believe it was Coulter Hahn that just comes down and just delivers a huge blow. The safety read it well. He was unaccounted for defensively. Comes out, makes a big tackle, but Gebhardt still fights through.
So you can take another 2 minutes potentially off this clock. Again, Hoisington has all of their timeouts remaining. Football sitting at the 12. I think right now it becomes a game of, if you're Hoisington, when are you going to use those timeouts? Play clock here down to 2. Give to Gebhardt. Nope, it's a Marion Holub. Holub inside the 5, inside the 1, and he's brought down there just outside of the 1 as they put the ball in the belly of a Marion Holub. Gain of 11 by a Marion.
This stretch that Holub has had the last 3, 4, 5 games has been huge. Maybe not a bigger carry than that one right there. Get you the first down, get you first and goal inside of the 1. It's not going to spring off, statistically for anything, but Holub with maybe the biggest carry for Southeast this evening.
Trojans working in the Case IH Red Zone, brought to you by Canaquip in Solomon. They have a beautiful state-of-the-art facility that's 1 year old, just off I-70 at the Solomon exit. Gebhardt directly behind Potacek. 3:09 left to go. First and goal from the 1. The give is to Gebhardt. The goal line is in front of Gebhardt, and a flag flies in from the lead official, the white hat, in the offensive backfield. He threw that flag 15 yards towards the goal line and where the play was at.
Yeah, you'd assume this would be an offensive hold unless he saw something else down there. You don't expect a lot of holds, with a quick play like this, and it looks like just the way that Southeast, the offensive line is reacting, is going to be an offensive hold. This isn't the worst possible thing that could happen, though. It just continues to give you more plays.
He'll put the football back at the 11-yard line. Still first down, though. And as you said, clock at 3:02. Tick, tick, tick. Hoisington has 3 timeouts remaining. They'll have to choose wisely where to use those. And the official's going to wind the clock. We're going to go inside 3 minutes here. They can work it down to about 2:40 before they snap this ball. It's first down and goal now from the 11 for Southeast of Saline, leading at 22-12. 3 wide receivers off to the left-hand side. Hopkins, Berrigan, and Hollup from outside to inside. Pitch out, Gebhardt, left-hand side. Has to cut it back. A Cardinal got in the backfield, and Grady will take this for a short gain on the play. Maybe got a football on that play, and now a timeout as the Cardinals start to use their timeouts. We will step away and take it as well. A quick stop and play. 30 seconds, and back with more Trojan football after this on KINA.
The Bennington State Bank proudly supports local sports and wants each student to know that their hard work and talent is noticed and appreciated. At Bennington State Bank, they care about local communities and are committed to fostering long-term relationships through the delivery of excellent customer service, integrity, and fairness. From helping local businesses to supporting community youth and nonprofits to helping you purchase your dream home or invest in your future, Bennington State Bank is here to help. Give them a call to experience exceptional banking with hometown service. Bennington State Bank, your trusted hometown bank. Member FDIC.
You're listening to Trojan Football on KINA Sports.
Southeast of Saline with the football. It is second down and 11 here at Steve Fritz Field. Semifinal action brought to you tonight by Abilene Termite and Pest Control. Don't forget about the 7th annual Gypsum Christmas Tree Lighting and Soup Supper going on this Sunday, November 23rd. Starts at 5:30 to 6:30 with the Soup Supper in the auditorium. It's a free will donation. And then 6:30 to 7, there will be cookies and cocoa, caroling, all kinds of stuff outside at the park in Gypsum. 22-12. It is second down and 11 for Southeast of Saline. 3 wide receivers left-hand side. They fake a pitch that side. Potacek rolling out, looking for somewhere to go. He's going to get snowed under and dropped back at the 26-yard line. Potacek had nowhere to go. He was looking potentially for somewhere to pass, but there were 3 Southeast receivers and 4 Hoisington defensive backs, and it is a big loss for Southeast of Saline, and another timeout here for the Hoisington Cardinals that will stop the clock with 2:24 left to go.
But, Devin, talk about just the veteran, the leadership right there from Potacek. Don't throw the ball away there. He did the right thing, right? Like, right now, time is on your side. If you can force Hoisington to call a timeout, fantastic. I think maybe – you would see an inexperienced quarterback try to throw the ball away right there. All of a sudden, you have an incomplete pass. Hoisington can save a timeout. Yeah, great play from Hoisington. But in our opinion, we love to see that right there.
Yeah.
Potacek holds on to the football. Fantastic. Keep that clock running. Make Hoisington burn another timeout.
Yeah, great point. You lose 16 yards, but Hoisington loses the timeout because you don't throw an incomplete pass to stop the clock. 3rd and 27 now. It's 3rd and goal from the 27 for Southeast of Saline. So we'll see what the Trojans can do here. Hoisington has 1 timeout remaining. And on their side of things, the Cardinals have played this just about as good as you can. They had a run for no gain. Then they got a 16-yard positive play that time for the defense. It's 3rd and goal at the 27. Still 1 timeout remaining for the Cardinals, who spread everybody out here. They're going to have 3 defensive linemen. Back to Gebhardt up the middle. 20. He angles out to the right-hand side, and he's going to go down at the 19. Again, maybe one of those plays, Tyler, he could have got to the outside, but he didn't want to.
You're exactly right. That's a play that we've normally seen Gebhardt bounce to the outside, could maybe make a guy miss, but he understands you touch this white line, that stops the clock. He goes down. We don't see Gebhardt go down that easily that often. That's just another headsy play from a senior that understands the game, understands what's going on, force another timeout from Hoisington. After this play, regardless if it's an incompletion, touchdown, regardless, the clock will stop. Turnover on downs. If Southeast Saline does not get the first down, sorry, there is no first down. It's a goal-to-go situation. Yep. The clock will stop. So now the timeout issue is not a case, but what a great play from Gebhardt. Again, got positive yardage, clock runs a little bit, and gets down before he gets out of bounds.
It'll stop on either a turnover on downs or a Southeast of Saline touchdown. Either way, it's going to stop on this 4th and goal from the 19-yard line. Southeast of Saline's Booster Club helps bring you live coverage to showcase exceptional student activities and build that purple power. It is always a great day to be a Trojan. Also, Technical Consulting offers project management, systems design, networking, backup solutions, IT strategy, and client relationship services across industries, including legal, financial, and medical. Microsoft and Cisco trusted partners. Technical Consulting, along with Kansas Bankers Technologies. I want to thank those sponsors helping us bring you Southeast of Saline football here on KINA, and also live stream video on SalinaPost.com. Kelly Kitchener, Shelter Insurance, also the Southeast of Saline Education Foundation, and Salina Ortho. Spread formation, 5 wide receivers for Southeast of Saline. 4th down and goal from the 19-yard line. Fake on the handoff to Gebhardt. Potacek steps up into the end zone. Marion Hollub playing hand fight with C.J. Bryant in the secondary of Hoisington. It's a shot for Southeast of Saline, and why not? The incomplete pass doesn't matter because, as you said, Tyler, clock's going to stop on turnover on downs. Hoisington will take over with no timeouts at their own 19-yard line. 2:11 left to go.
Yeah, hey, I like that play call right there, right? Like you're expecting run. Get him with that jet motion. Try to hit it. Didn't get it, though.
From the 19, 81 yards in front of the Cardinals. They trail by 2 possessions. They're down by 10, 22-12. And now the Cardinals will spread it out. They will go 4 wide receivers. With the pass, Martin, he's dropping back, looking. Now he might want to take off and run. Still looking for somewhere to go, and he's going to pass it for a 5-yard gain that stays in bounds. Logan Kostel did not get out of bounds, and a 5 or 6 yard gain that keeps the clock rolling.
Yeah, just great defense from Southeast. You're just getting back. Nobody beats you deep. You're keeping everything in front if you're Southeast.
2 catches, 16 yards for Kostel on offense tonight. Football out now to the 26-yard line. Martin back to pass again. Looking left. Wants to throw it down the hash in the middle. It's going to be picked off. Tiernan Potacek for the 2nd week in a row. Tiernan Potacek goes up. He takes the football away, and Hoisington has thrown an interception. Southeast of Saline can sense it. It's right around the corner. And an incomplete pass. It's picked off by Mason Martin. taken away by Tiernan Potacek. Tiernan now with 3 interceptions on the season.
There's no words, right? Potacek just playing center field. There's everything going on. Martin with that throw. We've seen him throw the ball well tonight. That was a desperation throw. The head goes, the shoulders go. He's just throwing that ball deep. He thought he had a guy. Potacek was the guy with the big interception. Let's go. Victory formation.
Victory formation. The only time you'll see Southeast of Saline under center as Tiernan Potacek takes the snap from Killian Vaughn. Hoisington can just sit and watch. But he can't do anything about it as they are out of timeouts, and Southeast of Saline will drain this clock down. What a sweet last minute and a half for Southeast of Saline on their home field. Home field advantage on this brand new house that Gebhardt built, just trying to get the clock down to 0 and then start thinking about yet another football game.
And Devin, how fitting is it that junior Tiernan Potacek, headsy play, taking the sack on second and long to just keep that clock running and then have that interception. It's a lot of times we would say Gannon Jacobson's Tiernan Potacek's #1 fan, and that's what you see with this leadership and this culture. I'd love to see Tiernan Potacek have these 2 hammer of plays, just using his head and everything. Oh my gosh. I'm lost for words. I'll stop talking. I'm just babbling down here.
You're right. That sack lost 16 yards, but it forced Hoisington to use a timeout, and Brody Chambers is going to get to present yet another trophy to his clan of Trojans dressed in purple. Southeast of Saline gets the job done. It was not a pretty offensive exhibition as Southeast of Saline is held to their lowest point total of the year, but that Trojan defense stands tall. They only give up 12 points tonight to a team that came rolling in, scoring a lot more than that. This game, Hoisington came in averaging 51.9 points, and they only get 12 tonight against this Southeast of Saline defense. Postgame is coming up next. We'll take a break. When we come back, comments on the field from head coach Mitch Gebhardt. We will also have stats for you, and we'll look ahead to yet another Trojan football game next week as they will play for a state title, and they will play to defend their state title in Hutchinson next Saturday. 22-12 is our score. It's a final. Southeast of Saline wins it now. 12-0 on the season are the Trojans. We'll talk more about it coming up in postgame. It's brought to you by Commercial Tire Centers.
Hi, this is Geraldine Diedrich, RN. If you are planning on having surgery, it is an important decision, and finding qualified care for surgical needs is essential. At Salina Surgical Hospital, our board-certified surgeons and specialized team provide professional warmth in an intimate, home-like recovery care area. Talk to your doctor about scheduling your next procedure with us. Your surgical experience is our specialty. Salina Surgical Hospital is partially owned by a group of local, community-involved physicians.
Your mailbox is stuffed full, and the phone keeps ringing. There are even strangers knocking at your door. Open enrollment time for Medicare and prescription drug plans is here, and it brings all kinds of unsolicited activity. Call a local firm with people you know at L&L Advisors. Plans can change pretty drastically year to year, and the agents at L&L Advisors are happy to answer your questions, give you advice, and make you feel at ease. With 2 locations in Salina, on Roach Street and Central Mall, and on South Main and McPherson. Built on honesty and trust, call L&L Advisors today.
Sage is your go-to source for industrial strength cleaning products, ice melt, floor equipment, paper, asphalt, and just about everything in between. Whether you're a maintenance supervisor, a small business, or just wanting your home to look amazing, stop by 732 North 9th Street in Salina, where we will be happy to assist you. You can also visit us at sageselects.com or call us at 309-1919. Sage Products, the right call every time.
Fall is the absolute best time for the experts at Commercial Tire Centers to look over your vehicle. Summer was tough on your tires, and winter's coming on strong. You don't want to be left stranded with tires that aren't performing. Car, truck, SUV, trailers, farm, and big rigs. Commercial Tire will help you keep safe and productive. Commercial Tire Centers, West Crawford and North 9th in Salina.
Commercial Tire Centers, where service is everything.
At Maury Clinic Sports Medicine, we are available when you need us most. I'm Dr. Andrew Westbrook, and I am the sports medicine physician at Maury Clinic. I see patients of all ages and help them come back stronger than ever. From broken bones to joint pain, my team and I are committed to help you do more. For those with sports injuries, come see us at our sports medicine walk-in clinic Monday and Thursday mornings from 8 to 9 a.m. Prevent, recover, and strengthen so you can perform your best. Maury Clinic Sports Medicine. Make your move with confidence.
Time for the Trojan postgame show on KINA Sports. Stick around for the game recap, final stats, and reaction from the coach. This is Trojan football on KINA.
Back here on the campus of Southeast of Saline High School, Steve Fritz Field is the place where we are watching Southeast of Saline celebrate as they get the victory tonight, 22-12, and they extend that winning streak. More importantly now, they have the opportunity to go forward and to play and defend their state championship from 1 year ago. Here's an update from Great Bend. Salina Central has scored. The Mustangs take a 9-point lead with 33 seconds left to go, 30-21. Salina Central now with 33 seconds left to go. Checking in, not an update lately on Nemaha Central and Osage City. Of course, Southeast of Saline would get the winner of that game. It is tight, though, to start the fourth quarter. Nemaha Central leading Osage City 22-19. It's a 3-point game. The Thunder leading Osage City by 3 heading in to the fourth quarter. This game, what a performance once again by Southeast of Saline's defense. We talk about the holiday season and being greedy. They have no trouble doing that. Last week in the second half, they shut out Phillipsburg in the second half of action, didn't let the Panthers do anything. 46 yards of offense for the Panthers 1 week ago. Here tonight against one of the highest powered offenses in Class 2A, Southeast of Saline gives up 79 yards total in the second half. They also limit a team in Hoisington that averaged 52 points a game to 12 total points. They did not give up any points in the second half of this game, pitching a shutout after leading 22-12 at halftime. That was our final score, folks. That was the final. Hoisington didn't give up any points either, and it's amazing we played the whole second half of this game with 0 points scored by either team, and Southeast of Saline gets the victory to move to 12-0. The winning streak now at 25 games, and they will get a chance to have their second undefeated season in school history and third state championship next Saturday at noon at Gowan Stadium in Hutchinson. Don't get mixed up. I did earlier in the season. I assumed the game would be on Friday. It will not be. It'll be at noon on Saturday at Gowan Stadium in Hutchinson, the state title game in Class 2A. Tyler, I lost you, my friend. Where are you? Who do you have down there?
I'm down here. I'm just looking around. I'm lurking. It's exactly as you'd expect things to be. I mean, there's just everybody. It's become an old hat here, right? Yeah. I do have Coach Gebhardt with me. We'll make this really quick, Coach. Coach, tell you what, that's a team you ran into right there. Hoisington just gave you everything that you wanted. Can you just tell us, how great Hoisington was tonight?
They were great. I mean, nobody scored in the second half in a playoff game. So how good are they? I mean, they're darn good. They're all we wanted tonight. And I'm pretty proud of our guys for being resilient and just keep banging away and keep doing what they needed to do to win this football game. That's what playoff football is about. It's not how big a distance it is. It's just getting one more point than somebody else.
Okay, two plays I want to talk about. It's your veterans that kind of did this. First of all, it was the sack that Patochik took late, second down, takes a big 16-yard sack, but he kept the clock running. And then the next play, your son Grady goes down instead of fighting for more yards to stay inbounds, and we normally see him spring free. Like, what have these guys done that they understand the concept of the game? They understand, like, how important forcing teams to take timeouts late in the game?
Well, I mean, I think it's the maturity of the football team. Obviously, we've been in a lot of football games where we've had to win them like that. I think the coaching staff, the guys talk about those things all the time. We put them in situations and things like that. So the maturity of the football team is a huge thing. Just understanding, that we did have a 10-point lead and we needed to preserve that 10-point lead.
Coach, you're 1-0 again. You have one more week to prove them right. This has been a blast. Keep it going. Congratulations on the big win.
Last comments on the field there in postgame here in the Commercial Tire Center's postgame report from Mitch Gebhardt. You can just kind of hear it in his voice. He told me off here before the game about the kind of respect and just kind of what he's noticed about this Hoisington team coming into tonight. And I know he knew that it would not be easy, and it was not. But Southeast of Saline tonight gets the victory, and they keep it rolling 22-12. They get the victory again. As they said on the field, no points by either squad. In the whole second half, it was a defensive battle, and it's the Trojans that gutted out the walk-off interception pretty much by Tiernan Potacek. And, boy, how about the game he had tonight playing quarterback for the Trojan? He was 6 of 10, throwing the football, 120 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. His favorite target tonight, Caden Berrigan, 3 catches, 57 yards. Malachi Hopkins had a touchdown for 56 yards. Also, Amarion Holub caught a ball for 9 yards. On the ground tonight, Grady Gebhardt, 25 carries. That ties for the most carries he has had in a game this season. He's not carried the ball more than 25 times. Tonight it was unofficially 25 carries, 165 yards. Amarion Holub, 2 carries for 23 yards. Then a couple of carries in there for nothing for Potacek and also for Canyon Douglas. Special teams, though, tonight, they were special for Southeast of Saline. You go all the way back. Right before halftime, Canyon Douglas kind of had a ball that got away from him. He mishandled it. He goes back to the 1-yard line, picks it up, then turns it upfield and ends up getting a touchdown out of it. 99-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. It's the second special teams touchdown for Southeast of Saline this season. They had one last week, had one this week. And when the special teams came out, boy, they were special, and also just kind of the discrepancy in point after touchdowns tonight. I think that was important. We can't dismiss that as well. And Southeast of Saline, there's just, you know as well as I do, Tyler, there are times during the season you have to be lucky as well as good, and you have to stay for the most part out of injuries. But there's plays like the Canyon Douglas play. There's plays like the Malachi Hopkins catch where kids make plays to take you on to the next level, and we saw that tonight from this Southeast of Saline group.
Yeah, it's always – it's not always somebody new in these big games. I mean, you talked about it at halftime off air. I mean, who made the biggest catch in potentially Southeast Saline football history was Canyon Douglas last year against Beloit late in the game. Like, it was a walk-off touchdown, and it's tonight. It's Canyon Douglas again with, a 99-yard touchdown return at the end of the first half. It's guys, first of all, the big-time guys did what they needed to do. But then it's those complementary players that continue to be better than other teams' complementary players. And that's the thing. I mean, these are guys, we talk about the Canyon Douglases, the Bryson Lipholds, the Malachi Hopkins, the Caden Berrigans, everybody in the trenches. We talk about so many guys. These guys would be absolute stars anywhere else. And they're stars here because they continue to play their tails off. And that's how you create what Coach Gebhardt has created. He's got so many weapons at his disposal, and you see them just shine through on nights like tonight.
What if I told you get to go back to Hutchinson now on Saturday and defend your title against the team that won the 2 state titles before you in Nemaha Central? It's a rematch of last year. Nemaha Central wins tonight 22-19 over Osage City.
You'd take it, right? Like, I mean, if you would have said that at the beginning of the season, I think that was kind of the collision course that everybody thought was going to happen. Obviously, there's been small speed bumps on the way. This Southeast team still has shown that they can do it in so many ways. And you talked about the special teams, not only the kick return, but it was the fortune of the muffed punts that went off a Hoisington player, and Southeast took advantage of it. They take advantage of mistakes, and that's what great teams do. You limit your own mistakes, and any mistake that somebody else makes, you got to take advantage of it, and that's exactly what Southeast has done, not just tonight, but they've done throughout the season.
Ask any sports enthusiast with fall means in Kansas. They'll tell you football, cross country, volleyball, soccer, and much, much more. The best entertainment, sportsmanship, and community involvement will unfold during these final few weeks of the fall sports season. Activities give fans the opportunity to show how much pride they have in their youth and talk about accomplishments. Support your school student body, faculty, and administration. A public service message from the Kansas State High School Activities Association and also KINA and the Salina Post. And, of course, we want to invite you to accompany us. I imagine there's going to be a little bit of a purple wave going south next Saturday morning as a noon kickoff is on tap between 2 teams that were there last year. They will try to go for it again. It'll be a lot of purple in the stadium on the campus of Hutch Community College as Nemaha Central will take on Southeast of Saline next Saturday. Here tonight, though, boy, what a game this was. Southeast of Saline and Hoisington. These 2 teams now have hooked up 5 times deep in the playoffs over the last 5 years, and Southeast of Saline now almost has an embarrassing edge. Overall, they have played Hoisington 9 times now. Southeast of Saline overall is 8-1, and in these playoff matchups, they have only lost once, and that's the last loss they experienced back in 2023 at Hoisington High School. They have not lost since then. They've rattled off 25 wins in a row, a state title in there, and they will try to repeat that. Next week, they will go to the state title game for the third time in school history. They will try to win the third state title in school history, and it'll unfold on Saturday. Well, the busy week of coverage for you, of course, on SalinaPost.com. We want you to enjoy your Thanksgiving, but boy, it just got a little bit better, didn't it? You got a little football now on Saturday.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, that Saturday's always a little bit dead, right? There's some college football you want to watch, but holy moly, we're on our way to Hutch, and you're exactly right. Not only will the Southeast of Saline side, the southeast side of Saline County be there, Assyria will be there, Gypsum will be there, like everybody will be there. This is going to be huge. You know, Nemaha Central will travel extremely well too. I mean, it's going to be everything that a state championship should be. And again, like we said, these are the two teams at the beginning of the year everybody thought would make it back. Very rarely does that happen. Like you have to have some good luck with that. And Southeast they're back. And it's a lot of times, you hear good coaches talk about it's one thing to win it. It's another thing to maintain and stay there. What a great job from Coach Gebhardt and his entire staff to keep this team on that run.
Our Everhart Precision Ag Precision Pass of the night. It had to be that 56-yarder. Potocik down the left-hand sideline to Malachi Hopkins, 56 yards for a touchdown. That came with 5:23 left to go in the second quarter of this game. I'm going to tell you, though, our Vernon Jewelers gem of the game, I'm taking Canyon Douglas downtown Salina with me to shop for some jewelry at Vernon Jewelers. That 99-yard kickoff return at the end of the first half was everything, I think, for Southeast of Saline in this game.
Yeah, it was huge, and it also goes back to what you talked about, the two-point conversions. If everybody's just kicking extra points, and let's assume everybody's making it, it's 21-14 as opposed to 22-12. We talked about Hoisington chasing early. When I say chase, they scored the first touchdown of the game, but it's almost like the mentality. They knew that they had to kind of stay ahead of the points because Southeast is always going to go for two. They have a lot of success there. But then to have that absolute dagger when the game's in hand, you just scored to bring it within a one-score game. And for Douglas to have the cool, calm, and collectiveness, almost stumbled at the 15, just continues to run. Biggest touchdown of I don't even know if it's the biggest touchdown of his life. I mean, this guy's just racking up huge touchdowns.
Well, yeah, and that was my point.
That's his second biggest
touchdown. I called him Playoff Canyon. Remember, he was on the receiving end of the game-winning walk-off touchdown in this game a year ago against Beloit. So Canyon Douglas, man, he's got it in his blood to do these kind of things, and he does it here tonight. Not as much in that dramatic of a fashion as last year, but boy, it was still exciting, and it made a huge difference here in this game. I want to thank you for joining us for Southeast of Saline Trojan football. Once again, brought to you tonight by Abilene Termite and Pest Control, also Bennington State Bank. I want to thank them for helping us make our coverage possible. We want to thank you for tuning in as well. Salina Central has won tonight. They beat Great Bend. They will be going to play for a 5A title as they will go through. And, boy, the two Saline County schools, 2-0 tonight against the two schools from Barton County. Not a bad thing, huh?
Not at all. And I think that's a big, you have to give yourself a pat on the back if you're in Saline County because there's so many parents that have helped build these these football players and the community. I mean, that's exactly what happens. You've seen a lot of people rally and support them. It takes a village to do this, and you've just seen that maybe things aren't as bad as people say that they are. We saw Salina South lose to Salina Central. Well, let's all root for – it's going to kill me to say this, Devin. Let's root for the Maroon on Saturday or Friday. I don't know when 5A plays, but we're definitely all going to root for the Purple on Saturday at noon.
We will have Kansas Wesleyan basketball. Our friend Tyler Henry is on his way to Bartlesville, Oklahoma for a tangle tomorrow between Kansas Wesleyan and Oklahoma Wesleyan. We'll have those games for you tomorrow on the hardwood between the Coyotes and Oklahoma Wesleyan. And then on Sunday, this game has always given me weird vibes. There's been some really strange things happen between the Colts and the Chiefs, especially in the playoffs. They'll get to renew that rivalry tomorrow. Sunday at Arrowhead. It's a noon kickoff. That means an 11 o'clock pregame for you on KINA, also on 99 KG in high definition. Chiefs football coming your way on Sunday. Tonight, our friend Eric Peterson will take you around the state of Kansas with a high school football scoreboard show, scores and game wraps from all 36 games across the state of Kansas tonight, this being one of them, where the Southeast of Saline Trojans extend their winning streak to 25 games with a 22-12 victory over the Hoisington Cardinals. It takes a village to make it happen. I want to thank Nick Garst back at Studio Central, also Chris Cadle, Brian Dennett providing that live stream video that you can watch anytime on the Salina Post Sports YouTube channel. That is brought to you tonight by Abilene Termite and Pest Control, along with Bennington State Bank. My friend Tyler Smith, I'm Devin Haney. We've got another football game. We'll talk to you on Friday in Hutchinson as Southeast of Saline goes for the repeat, and it'll happen right here on KINA.